What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special Wednesday edition of GameFace right here on SIFTD at sifted.net, the world's most advanced gaming content aggregator, and I would argue one of the best gaming podcasts in the world, GameFace. We're here to do it, and of course, alongside me is the one and only Matt Keil. Matt, how's your week been?
All right, halfway done now.
Yeah, I know. Just so you guys know what's going on, just want to let you guys kind of know what happened.
Hump day!
Hump day show! Just so you guys know what happened.
That commercial from 20 years ago?
Yeah, vaguely. Yep. Just so you guys know, I had transportation issues yesterday. I went to get in my car to come over here to do the show on Tuesday as usual, and my car wouldn't start. So I texted Matt, and I'm like, oh, car's acting goofy, may have to delay or cancel. Went back downstairs to check out my car. I Googled some stuff on the internet, and it's like, go do this and do that, and maybe it'll start. So I did that stuff that I found on the internet, and it did start. So I ran back upstairs, grabbed my stuff, came back down, got in the car, just started driving over to Matt's house. I got probably about a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile from my place, and the thing just shut down. And luckily, I was able to swerve over and park on the side of the road, and then it started the whole process of sitting there and waiting 2 hours for AAA to show up to tow my car, and then taking the car to anyway. Bottom line was, there was no way we could do the show yesterday. But I had already prepped everything for the show, so I was not going to let it slide. So here we are on a Wednesday for GameFace. I would not be surprised if not as many people show up today. That's totally cool. We get it. We just want to make sure that, we can do it live for the people who like to show up and can. But obviously, the archives for our patrons and for our YouTube crew and all that kind of stuff. So we want to make sure we got an episode in this week, and that's what we're here to do. Matt, how's your week been?
All right. Has anything particularly happened? No, nothing crazy.
It was not a gigantic week of game releases. We have games we're going to review on the show today.
I played a lot of Power Wash Simulator.
Oh, really?
So I was on sale, and I bought it because the Tomb Raider and Final Fantasy DLC are about to get delisted.
Oh.
Because the licensing deal with Square ended, or Square's not the publisher of that anymore. Some contract ended, so the Square related stuff is going away. So right now the Tomb Raider and Midgar DLC are free until they get delisted. I think in like a month from now, or something like that. So if you don't have those, go get them.
Well, did you see the bonus, though, particularly for someone like you?
Well, I saw the Power Washing Simulator 2 is getting Star Wars.
Yeah, there's Star Wars DLC coming where you can, hose down all the famous Star Wars X-Wing. You can spray the gunk, the Tatooine gunk off of the X-Wing.
Finally. Luke Skywasher.
That's what they should have called it, the Luke Skywasher DLC. That's funny. So wait, you got the first one or the second one?
First one.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the second one. I'll get the second
one. I figure the first one's probably $5 at this point.
The first one's $25,
Still.
but it's on sale for $14 right now.
Wow, I'm surprised it's still that expensive after all this time.
I mean, it sells.
Yeah, I guess so. You bought it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to. I do have it on. I think I have it on Game Pass, but
I played it on Game Pass.
I never bought it, so I'm just like, well, I'll buy it and have the DLC before it goes away.
So you're not going to be able to... Star Wars is for 2, correct?
2, that's for 2,
so you're not going to be able to play that.
Well, I'll just buy that.
Are you going to buy it for the Star Wars
when
DLC?
When it comes out, there's no reason to do it right now.
Yeah.
I haven't bought that one yet, because it's just like, I think I know what that,
Yeah.
I never finished the first one, really, so... But I will say, so I played the first one when it came out.
Me too.
And playing this one now... They changed a lot.
Have they?
It's way easier.
Really?
You have to clean,
I'm not surprised by that.
You have to clean way less of the individual things before they,
say you're clear.
You get to a certain point and it goes ding, and it cleans. Maybe it's not 100% clean. Now it's like there's giant swaths of grime left.
They're like, you got 60% there.
I would say it for most especially the big it's like the skate park has a floor that's half 3/4 of the level.
Yeah,
is just the ground, cleaning the ground. I think maybe 90% of it was clean before it dinged out. And it used to be a lot harder to get the hard stuff off concrete and wood and metal. I used to have to use I have not had to use any of the soap. For anything.
Wow.
Just spraying. And then I upgraded I skipped the middle one and I jumped to the second to highest one, and it just cuts everything off. It's just gone. So
isn't it crazy how popular that game is?
And then I saw in the options, there's an option for washing style, and it's like revamped and classic or something like that. So I wonder if classic's the one that like was more like what it's like to try to get graffiti off a wall. You know, you're
like
just
hard
scrum. And like now it's like, you know, it's. I mean, it's fast now. Like it used to take me like a couple of sessions to get through like one of the big levels because it was like it's just took so long. Like, you know, I'm out of podcasts. I'm very tired of just like hearing this.
I quit on the third level. Like, I got to the third level and I was like, I get it. This isn't fun to me. Like, I don't begrudge anybody who likes ASMR stuff or whatever. It's pretty crazy how that stuff has become so big.
Yeah,
like, you got the guys who mow the lawns on YouTube and the guys who power wash on YouTube.
I was trying to explain to someone like
the drawl of it.
Well, because I showed them the Star Wars thing and they're like,
why?
What? And I'm like, nah, it's like a big deal. Like, it's like, this is a video game? I'm like,
it's like human psychology, really.
But I mean, like, she hates dirt. I'm like, you'd like this game. Like, it's a very
satisfying takes away something
game.
you hate.
You'd enjoy it. And she's like, actually, yeah, maybe. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, it's part of like this whole trend, or like just like weird blank simulator stuff. I'm like Rock Simulator was a big hit, and she's like, what's that? It's like a music thing. Like, no. Like, it's a rock. Like, you're a rock, and she's like, what do you do? Nothing. You're a rock. You sit there, and the world evolves around you for thousands of years. And she's like, what?
Fun.
I'm like that. I'm like, it's like $1. You know, it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But I'm like, here's Farming Simulator. Here's this simulator, and she's like, I didn't know any of this exists. I'm like, yeah, well, why would you? Really?
Yeah, and I don't blame her for not knowing. But it is a very strange thing.
But
it's all built on like human psychology.
She was a little interested in the that one that just came out, the video store simulator.
Yeah,
like,
where you run the 80s video store.
Because that's more of an actual game.
Yeah,
It's more of an actual thing. Or like,
and if she's a little older, she could relate to it.
Yeah, we're all
there.
Yeah. we were all kind and rewinding.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean the farming simulators, it's a game. You know,
Some of them are not.
A lot of them are more games than Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I played like the third level, and I was like, I get it. Not for me.
I do appreciate how bonkers they made the story. If you bother to read the text
right.
messages,
Yeah, there is like a whole
like it's like this weird Twin Peaks conspiracy thing in this like bonkers town, and like. The free DLC is like even weirder stuff. I think like Mucksville Chronicles or something. Like they lean into it as hard as you possibly can, and it kind of works.
Kinda.
It's just sort of like, well, I don't know what else you do for that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't make it heavier. Like you can't make me watch a power washing cutscene. So like you're kind of stuck there.
Yeah. A couple things before we get going, and before we check in with you guys, like we always do at the beginning of the show. First of all, there is no review for Saros in today's show. So if you're wondering, and maybe you showed up just for our review of Saros, that's not going to be in this week's episode. That will be in next week's episode. Another game that comes out tomorrow that we're not going to review in this week's episode is Invincible Versus. That comes out again on the 30th or the 29th, I believe. And then another game came out this week that we're not going to make it to this week, and that is Aphelion, which is the brand new action-y game from Don't Nod, the creators of Life is Strange. Those will all be in next week's episode, so we're going to have an awesome episode next week, but we have a great episode for you guys this week, too. We're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, which is a remake of Assassin's Creed 4 we've kind of known about for a long time, but finally, that was unveiled this week. We're going to preview The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. I was lucky enough to get in on the closed beta for that. It is a Mass Effect-like action RPG that I got to play for around an hour and a half or something like that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Steam Controller 2. We just got all the launch information for that. We're going to talk about a new plan for Game Pass where you can pick your own games. We're going to talk about Nintendo getting sued over Trump's illegal tariffs. We have a great episode for you guys. I think we have like 10 or 12 topics today. So if you're one of those people who like episodes of GameFace that aren't really game or review heavy, this is your jam. So it will be worth you showing up on a Wednesday to watch GameFace, I promise you. Let's check in with the chat and see what's up with you guys on this fine Wednesday afternoon instead of Tuesday like usual. Mitchell Ness says, I forgot about Invincible. Yeah, a lot of people have. I think it's not tracking really well on SIFTD right now as far as views and stuff like that. So that game may end up going free to play in the very near future, would be my guess. We'll see. But
the fighting game community likes it a lot.
Does it?
Yeah.
It's a 3v3 tag fighter.
If their expectations are adjusted properly, it may do what they want it to do, because I think people are very willing to adopt it in that space, but that is not what we would call critical mass sales for something you've licensed from a comic book and an Amazon series, probably. So.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get a chance to play it this week, because obviously any fighting game.
Yeah, I will try it.
Myself and our audience love to hear your
I'm
take.
I'm not the best like instinctual tag fighter player, so we'll see what I come up with, because like a lot of that's just all right.
Yeah, I just think everybody really respects your opinion on fighting games, so we'd definitely like to hear it next week. Thoughts on Shuhei being forced out from the Quickster? Did you hear about this?
I saw his little soundbite about it.
Yeah. I mean, so basically, Shuhei Yoshida ran Sony's first-party studios for a long time, and I would argue during really the best era of PlayStation first-party exclusives. And then he mysteriously one day was kind of demoted to handling kind of the Japanese stuff and indie stuff for PlayStation, and no one kind of figured out what happened. And then shortly after that, he ended up leaving PlayStation altogether. And people love him. Like, we know him, and he's an awesome guy. Like, what you see on camera is real. Like, he's really, like, that awesome and that nice. So people were kind of like, how could you fire that guy? Because he knows his stuff. He's done a great job,
and they didn't have a better idea.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like there was a better replacement waiting or another...
Yeah.
It's not like they pivoted to something else.
Right.
Well, I mean, they kind of pivoted to nothing.
Yeah.
But...
And so anyway, as it turns out, he was being asked to do things that he did not think were smart decisions, and he didn't do them. Yeah. He's basically an insubordinate and just didn't follow orders.
He was kind of doing the Office Space things. Like, I'm just not going to go.
Yeah.
You're going to quit? No, I'm just not going to go. See what happens.
And so they basically fired him over that. And that's a tough one, as somebody who's been a boss before, having people who wouldn't... I mean, I've never had that happen, where I asked an employee to do something, and they just straight up said no.
Right, but it's like when it's someone who has that kind of experience and that kind of track record, and they're like, what you want me to do is stupid, and I'm not going to do it. Like, I would hope the reaction would probably be to question your decisions.
Yeah, we should listen to this guy.
As opposed to firing.
Right.
Like, I mean... It sort of sounds like he was right, that like, okay, you were working for morons, and maybe it's better that you're not in that situation anymore.
He didn't say this, but I kind of have a feeling that some of the stuff he said was a bad idea was them starting to talk about games as a service and like getting Naughty Dog to make a multiplayer game.
Putting all your eggs in one basket in any situation like that is stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it would also have been stupid if they pivoted to all $200 million single-player narrative games.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just like your portfolio. It needs to have a good variety of investments. So if one goes upside down, you're not completely screwed.
Over-specialize and you breed in weakness.
We're giving financial tips here on GameFace. Mitchell Ness says, I had the pleasure to talk to Shu and Jaffe about a month ago. There's a lot more Shu has. I hope he writes a book. Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine the stories that he has.
He knows where all the bodies are buried, no question.
Eric Cartman says Shuhei loves Kyle. He does. He loves Kyle Bossman. Yeah. I don't know why, but he does. Swanland, did you guys talk about the PS5 DRM thing? We're going to talk about that in just a second. I'm glad you brought it up. It's not in our rundown, but we're going to talk about it here in a sec. Fight TJK, thank you for Twitch Prime. And hello to you as well. There's Quickster's question. Eth Demon, Final Fantasy XIV next X-Pack reveal is my personal news of the week. Yeah, and that's not coming out until like January of 27 or something like that. Rogerty, are you going to try the Molyneux game, Masters of... Matt and I were just talking about that before we went live. And... we don't know, because it looks so bad. And
I bought it.
You did?
I just haven't played it.
And I think I tried to get review code from them.
It's real early access. I mean, early access didn't even cover it.
I saw people saying it's like a sandwich making simulator.
A little bit, yeah.
So Matt and I, we were talking about it, and we're like, so it's really just going to turn into us bashing Peter Molyneux for 20 minutes? Do we want to do that, or do we want to wait until the game's actually done?
We're going to just wait until Fable comes out and do that.
That might be fun, actually. Yeah. It's a double dip. Yeah, so probably not. We're probably going to put it on hold for a while.
If it still exists by then.
Right. Bottom line is reviews for it have been abysmal. The few that are out there. Most people, I think, just don't even feel comfortable reviewing it.
Yeah, or if they even know it happened.
Yeah, that could be another part of it, too.
I mean, it's clearly not reviewable. Like,
yeah.
I mean, there's Hades 2 early access, and then there's this. You know,
yeah.
This is not like, it barely seems like you should be allowing people to touch this. It's barely alpha quality.
I reached out for review code for this game twice.
I mean, we saw
and never got a reply.
We saw what happened with Goddess before. You know.
Yeah. So we're probably going to put that one on pause. Yeah. See if we got anything else in here. AJ the Legend watch streak, 15 stream streak. I can never say that. 15 stream streak. Thank you, AJ, for showing up every week, man. That's awesome. Fire Native, thank you for Twitch Prime. Silk Snake, I wasted too much time cleaning Lara's mansion. I had to delete the game as I felt it was wasting my life. Honestly, that's how I kind of felt playing it. But again, like, everybody takes something different away from video games, so I'm not going to begrudge somebody for liking it. It just wasn't for me. Heard it here first. Matt doesn't use soap. Yeah. I think that's it. I'll send it like, sorry to hear about the car. Hope the fix is inexpensive. It was like $600 or $700 or something like that. I already have my car back. Mm-hmm. So I got it to them. They almost had fixed it by the end of the day yesterday, believe it or not. They wanted to come in and test drive it today before they gave it to me. And they did that, and they called me, and I went and picked it up, and I drove it here. So it's already fixed. It was like $700. It sucks, but that's life. Yes, Mitchell Ness, that car has been through it over the course of the show. In fact, I just told this story of the car being stolen to somebody like a few days ago. Like, I have just even forgotten about that because it's been like 6 years or whatever, and they couldn't believe it either. That's still just a crazy story.
More than 6 years.
Yeah, I guess it has been. That is an insane story, and I just forgot about it. And I was talking to somebody about my car.
Saved by the manual transmission.
Seriously, yeah. And now you can't even buy manual transmissions, even on a Z car. You have to like special order
it.
Yeah. It sucks, man. But I realize most people don't want to drive stick or whatever. But I've only had a stick shift since the day I started driving, since I was 16. I had an automatic one time that my mom gave me, and the engine blew up in like 2 months. Otherwise, I've always had a stick shift my entire life. And thank you, Cinetike. I appreciate that. Anything else? Matter of fact, listen to GameFace while I knock out a few side quests. Hey, we're a podcast, and we're totally cool with you using us as a podcast game supplier. Whatever you need to do, we appreciate it. Let's see if anybody jumped in here at the end while we were talking. Big Dave Lazard, thank you for Twitch Prime. What else? Oh, there are semi-automatic cars available now. Yeah, where you actually can shift the paddles and go up and down the gears.
I've had that for 20 years.
Most people who have that never use it. They just drive it like an automatic. Yeah. And I would too.
Well, because, I mean, honestly, automatic transmissions now are more efficient than any human would.
Oh, yeah, you get better. Now I think you almost get better gas mileage.
Oh, you absolutely do.
With automatics. It used to be you get better gas mileage.
Around,
yeah. But now it's all different, so. All right, it looks like that's it for all your questions. As always, during today's stream, if you have a question for us, you want us to respond, always go at Sifted Games in the chat. And that's how we'll be able to pick your question out of all the conversation you guys are having with each other. One couple things before we get going in today's show. I just want to remind everybody that Sifted is supported pretty much 100% at patreon.com/Sifted. That's SIFTD. If you're listening to the audio version of this, that'd be awesome if you could head over there for $5 a month to get all our content early with a nice little buffer zone of exclusivity. If you can't help us out with that, but you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, we talk about it all the time. We just talked about it. You can help us out with Twitch Prime and give us a free $2.50 every month. You have to link your two accounts together, but once you do that, it's 3 clicks, and you give us $2.50 every month, and you do have to redo it every month, and that does suck, and we totally get it, but we'd really appreciate it if you could do it. It makes a big difference for us. It's one of our bigger revenue streams, so it's not something that it's an extra, like we need it to keep going the show. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. And if you don't have either of those, that's okay. Like the show, comment on the show, ring the bell. All that stuff matters and makes a difference. It gets our show bumped up into the algorithms where new people can discover it. And potentially, we could get some new patrons out of it. That would be sweet. And actually, before we jump into the show, it looks like we got a super chat over on YouTube from Cody Bishop. Thank you very much. Any hype for Lego Batman this month? Well, that actually comes out next month in May and towards the end of the month, but absolutely. We're both very, very excited for the new Lego Batman, for sure. In fact, I just did dossier and was like doing some more research into it and discovered more stuff that makes it sound really cool and awesome. So yeah, we'll be all over that game. We will cover it. Maybe we'll preview it 50-50, but for sure we will review it when it comes out. So stay tuned, and thank you for the super chat. That's awesome. Again, Cody Bishop, 7526. Thank you, brother. All right. And with that, it's time to kick off GameFace episode 478. But before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor, the one, the only, the awesome Ellis Cream. It's Ellis Cream, the fine cream liqueur crafted by fellow gamer and sifter Stevens Charles. Inspired by the Haitian drink Crémasse, Ellis Cream delivers an award-winning experience with every single pour. One sip and you'll see why. It's a party favorite.
The silky blend of fresh cream and premium neutral grain spirits mixes great with everything. I dare you to put a shot in your coffee. I've been drinking it for years and still, I find new combinations that taste incredible. LS Cream is the kind of drink that keeps surprising you thanks to its notes of vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and coconut. Take it to any gathering and watch it steal the spotlight. We've never seen anyone resist. Ready to join the fan club? Head to creamls.com/sifted for recipes, retailers, and online orders. That's creamls.com/sifted.
Don't forget, LS Cream head honcho Stevens Charles will be here in 2 weeks live on GameFace. So before he gets here in 2 weeks, it would be awesome if some of you guys could jump on the LS Cream 5K challenge. It would be awesome if, like, the day before he comes, I think it's the 12th. Is that the day? Is that the Tuesday?
I think so.
I think so. He's going to be here, like, on the 12th. It would be awesome if, like, on the 11th, like, a couple of you could, like, put together your drink for the LS Cream 5K challenge so we could come in here and talk about your drinks live on the show. That would be really, really sweet. Again, go to creamls.com/sifted. You got to sign some paperwork there to enter the contest. All the information is right there. Just follow it step by step. Enter the Sifted or the LS Cream 5K challenge. You can win $5,000 USD just for making a fun drink that's probably going to taste awesome. Put some ice cream in there. You're going to win. So anyway, go to creamls.com/sifted. Get hooked into the 5K challenge, and we'll see Stevens Charles here in just a couple weeks. Okay. I just realized we totally forgot to talk about the whole PlayStation DRM thing. Like I just promised that we were going to. And the reason we're not going to talk about it is because when it first came out, people were freaking out about it. And then this morning, they kind of figured out what was going on, and it's not that big of a deal. So are you familiar with the story, Matt?
Yeah, I thought this was like last week, though.
No, it was like 3 days ago, I think, was the first time people well, no, you're right. Like last week, people started discovering it, and then
freaked out last week, and I looked at it and was like, it's just for new things in the first 30 days.
Well, over the weekend, people really started digging in and doing experiments.
Because the original way it was like...
We should explain to
the original way it was reported was like all of a sudden everything you own on PlayStation is going to need to be checked in every 30 days or you're going to lose it. Which I'm like, that can't be true. Like that's crazy.
That would
like,
be really anti-consumer.
Yeah. Well, it's also like exactly the thing everybody was worried about with Xbox before, and of course it's not. It's specific games when you first buy them need a check-in in the first 30 days online to confirm ownership, or there will be a problem for it. But it doesn't retroactively apply. It doesn't apply to every game. It's nothing. Like it's unless you are like in a cabin with no internet somewhere, I guess. In which case, how did you buy a digital game?
Yeah,
like in the next 2 months,
right?
You know, like
yeah,
it's a weird thing to do, I guess. But like, it doesn't really affect too many people. I don't think most people are going to notice.
Well, what people figured out overnight, and it was reported today, is that they believe, the people who have really been digging into this, that it was there because PlayStation was getting burned. People would buy a game digitally, and they would refund it and try to get the refund for it, and they were still able to play it after they got the refund. So it's like some kind of an anomaly or glitch in PlayStation's system that they're trying to find ways to like stop it, and this was sort of one of their first ideas.
Like if you kept it open,
you could keep playing it even after you got your money back.
If the refund went through while the game was open, I think it was. Yeah.
So that's what they think is happening. So as it turns out, it kind of wasn't that big of a story. And to your point, Matt, it really wasn't that big of a story either before that. But ultimately, it was kind of a nothing burger, as people say. So that's why it's not in our rundown, and we just kind of talked about it off the cuff here at the beginning. All right. It's time to get on.
Just like it's basically a stopgap way of patching like an oversight they had.
Yeah. Yep. All right, it's time to get on with GameFace 478. We're going to start off the show with undoubtedly the biggest announcement this week. However, it was not really a surprise because literally rumors have been floating around about a remake of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag for at least 2 years.
Something like
that. And along the way, several reliable leakers have given us information. So we've been operating for the last 18 months that this was an inevitability, and we were just waiting for the announcement. And that's exactly what we finally got this week. We finally got the official announcement of Assassin's Creed. They dropped the 4. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. And Matt, I'm a little surprised that there's no Switch 2 version of this coming, considering Assassin's Creed Shadows just had a Switch 2 version that looked and ran amazing.
Again, they probably didn't have the dev kit soon enough.
Yeah.
I would imagine it will come eventually.
Yeah, my guess is 6 months after this comes out for the other 3, it'll probably come out for Switch 2. It is coming to the other 3 platforms on July 9th this year. It will be 13 years after the original game released. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah. It really is. For the most part, I mean, obviously the biggest change here is the graphics. And oh my gosh, what a huge upgrade from the original game from 13 years ago. That really is a good sort of indicator of how far presentation has come in video games in the last decade or so. Like, you know, we talk about the law of diminishing returns, and the jump from PS4 to PS5 wasn't that big, but this is a pretty big jump here. Like, I was impressed with it. So
it's just the jumps are not things you notice immediately without comparison. Like, you look at the old stuff, the old versions of the game, and it's just like the old Ubi models are just so dead.
The character models are the most obvious upgrade when you first see it. You're like, oh yeah, that looks way better than the characters that were in the original Assassin's Creed 4, for sure. And just so you know, like, as far as Matt and I are concerned, this is one of our favorite Assassin's Creeds of all time.
Oh yeah.
And Matt, I don't know if you heard or not, but one of your big complaints with this game, they are fixing. So you were up in arms that, you know, whether they would fix, remove, or just keep them as they are, sort of the surveillance missions. They're working on those, and they're tweaking them for this. They're actually working on a ton of stuff and tweaking a ton of stuff for this. Now, the story pretty much stays the same. You play as Edward Kenway on his ship, the Jackdaw. He basically sails through the Caribbean. It's as far as that's concerned, the plot, the characters, all that kind of stuff is going to be a faithful recreation of Black Flag. Obviously, with the increased presentation from the Anvil engine, which was the Anvil engine around 13 years ago? I thought they'd been using that all this time.
Yeah, Anvil was around.
I
then.
thought so.
That was the thing that the thing that evolved out of 3, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, the press release that Ubi sent me made a
now it's
big
Snowdrop.
point out of the Anvil engine. Yeah. But they said there's going to be tons of improvements, new content, and the project has been led by Ubisoft Singapore, and a lot of the original game's developers jumped over to Ubisoft Singapore to help with the project. So good to have some OGs in there who understand sort of the heart and soul of the game and can make sure that that is transferred through into this improved version. And basically, this whole game is just living the life of a pirate. I mean, there's naval combat, there's sword battles, and they've improved that with a new parry-driven combat system. And you play as Edward Conway. He goes from a privateer to skilled assassin. Of course, it has all the Assassin's Creed accoutrement in there with the Templars and the Assassins and all that stuff, all mixed up in a pirate's life. And I think that's what made it special. Like, this was one of the only Assassin's Creed games where it had like a theme like that, where the person was like a thing, instead of just being some dude or some woman.
Well, they hadn't. I mean, they always had a theme, really, but like this was the first time it had an interesting theme in a while. Like they had a Renaissance. You know, it was usually the time period that they leaned into. The first game was okay, Assassins.
Yeah,
like cool. Then the Ezio trilogy is Renaissance stuff. You know, Renaissance Italy. Okay, like, I mean, it's not like you can really like paint. That would not really fit.
I mean, he could have built contraptions and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you had Leonardo do that for you, which is
which is cool.
You had the hang glider and a little stupid.
But
tank
my point
section,
is, like, the protagonist has never had a role like this until this game, where he was a thing. Like, he's a pirate. Like, every other, it was just always a dude or a woman living in a time period. This, he had like a vocation and sort of preconceived notions about what he would do, where he would go. How do you feel about No Blood? They say it's coming.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But that struck me watching this. Like, he sticks his sword through people.
These were never gore fests. They're just splashes.
Yeah. But they say that they're going to add it. It's a little weird to debut the game without it, don't you think?
I mean, the thing is that like the pirate thing is really just, it's the first time they picked a time period and setting that like allowed you to make the protagonist something of that nature. Like, I guess because technically Connor is a revolutionary soldier fighter.
That's true.
In 3, it's just that's not as interesting as a pirate.
Yeah,
like it's it's like how everybody wanted ninjas too. Like, it's just there are things to play as that kind of fit the role, and it's it was a little daring in the sense that pirates aren't really what you think of as sneaky.
Yeah,
for the most part. But
yeah,
they pulled it off.
I like that there are parkour lines again.
Yeah.
Because those have kind of gone away in the last couple of Assassin's Creeds.
Well, they kind of went away in this. Like, the Assassin's Creed 3 really broke how the game flowed.
Did. Yeah.
And
so
they
you could start climbing and running in trees and stuff.
And they didn't, and like, it really, like, it was just like, okay, you're in a tree, and you have one line, and that's it.
Through
like,
the tree.
You're basically, you're moving along through very predetermined paths. They got the verve back in Unity to some degree, but then Unity didn't work out too well, so they kind of punted after that. And then, like, once you hit the ancient games, the open worlds, the really open world action RPGs, it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, there's a little bit of it more in Shadows, but, like, they are slowly clawing their way back to a functional parkour system. That update in September for Shadows got them somewhere towards that. Yeah, they added some elements that, like, were I would say are Unity inspired in terms of what you can jump off and how you can transfer from one place to the other. It made it feel a lot smoother, which is like, it was in 3 and 4 where you started to feel that jerkiness, where like you didn't feel like you had full control over what was happening. I very specifically remember playing the original version of this game and having, because the original games, you had to hold a trigger to go loud, basically. You had to hold, I think, the right trigger, the left trigger to break stealth, basically. And in this, once Patrice left and I don't remember who took over, but he didn't think the games should play the way they used to play. They played and changed it for 3, and it fucking sucked.
Which is my guess why Patrice left.
It was part of it. Why? It was always a conflict over that, as I understand it. But like, and so Connor but especially Edward, I remember you just be chasing someone down like a narrow street or something, and he'd just start grabbing boxes and hanging on them like a cat. So it was like, dude, just run.
Yeah, it
just
drove
run
me crazy.
And it was crazy because, like, the old control scheme, that would never happen, because as long as you're holding that trigger, the game knows you don't want to grab or climb anything. You're moving.
Yeah, it was kind of broken, borderline.
It was terrible.
Broken. Yeah.
It was like it bothered me, and it's why playing this game, I hated every time it made me get off the boat. Yeah. Because I didn't want to do any of that. I didn't want to deal with the controls. I didn't want to deal with the eavesdropping. I didn't want to deal with the constantly sneaking through plantations. It's like, okay, I'm hiding in flowers again, listening to people talk about slave trade. I'm like, can't we just go blow some shit up?
This is a video game.
That's why Freedom Cry was so much better, because you just went and blew shit up. It was just fun. It was just like, oh, that's where those guys go kill them. Like, let's go. Like, okay, that's what I'm here for. Just don't let me. And Rogue, I like Rogue better in a lot of ways because it makes you get off the ship way less.
Yep.
This is a more interesting. Also, Rogue was interesting because you're a traitor. Right. Like, Shay is an assassin trainee turned Templar, which is something that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see because, again, he's got a point.
Yeah,
like that's one. The line between what the assassins are doing and what the Templars are doing is never muddier than what's happening in this era. In the colonies. So that was an interesting way to take that. If this is a big hit, I would love to see them give Rogue the same treatment. Yep. Even though that's not nearly as popular with the general fan base.
Definitely not. This is getting tons of more upgrades. There's going to be an ability to locate and assign new officers to the Jackdaw, and each one brings a special ability to naval combat.
You know what, guys? All you had to do was that, instead of like wasting all that time and money on Skull and Bones. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all anybody wanted.
Oh, I know. It's since Skull and Bones
they just wanted Assassin's Creed 4, but with like more pirate sim and less hide and listen to people. Yeah, that's all. It's all you had to do for the last 13 years.
Yep. They've also reworked the islands and the rewards, so there's new rewards and unique encounters on the islands all across the map. There's additional missions and new scenes featuring Matt Ryan, Edward's original voice actor, and the original cast. There's more customization options for the Jackdaw, including new skins and an all-new ship's pet, and we saw some of that in the B-roll, to bring along a cat or a monkey companion while you're out on the high seas. They've reworked Kenworth's fleet. Now it allows players to use captured ships to generate passive income, which is pretty freaking sweet. The old shanties are back, but they're joined by a set of 10 songs for your crew to sing as you sail around, which is pretty cool. They've reworked all the combat, basically. There's now new takedowns. There's a new parry mechanic, as I mentioned earlier. There's a quick-fire rope dart that you can use and pistol moves. There's a new enemy archetype called the Demolitionist. And they've tweaked and completely upgraded all the stealth gameplay. Observe mode has been enhanced for Edward's eagle vision. Crouch anywhere lets him lower his profile anywhere on land, which is huge.
That was the other thing, is like the starting with 3, the way you played stealth was basically when you hit a stealth area, he just automatically crouched down.
Yep.
You had no control over it, which meant if you got to the edge of some bushes and you did not agree with the game designer, like the level designer, where that bush ended, he just stood up
and
everyone saw you and you were dead. Like, it was so stupid.
Yep.
Whereas before Assassin's Creed 3, you had complete control over when that happened.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the most egregious betrayals of a control system I have ever seen in a sequel. Like, I really, really don't like Assassin's Creed 3 because of that.
Yeah. There's also now a dive anywhere feature where Edward can basically stealthily approach seafront locations and ships from the water. Shadows and low light affect Edward's visibility during stealth sequences. That's another upgrade. They completely reworked the naval combat. There's new secondary weapons.
I'm gonna guess they got rid of all the modern, like, pseudo Ubisoft scenes.
Probably. That'd be my guess. There are the shrapnel barrels now explode and damage enemy sails. Enemy ships and factions have been reworked to add different equipment depending on their alliances. They've enhanced the parkour with a manual jump, side ejects, height-gaining back ejects, quicker interrupts between parkour moves, and then there's dynamic weather and other objects. I mean, this is a gigantic change from the base game.
The most important upgrade is that if you're doing one of the stupid tailing missions, they said that if you fail it, the game will just adapt to that narratively instead of, like, making
you got to do it all over again. Yeah.
Which, like, better late than never, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... it was so tedious. Like, I have replayed Assassin's Creed Rogue 3 times, and I have never replayed this specifically because of that.
Wow.
Because Rogue doesn't make you do that to
Yeah.
that degree. They learned, but then they never went back and did anything with this. And I really hope they do Freedom Cry for this eventually. If this is a hit, I hope they do Freedom Cry in this same treatment. Because that I mean, it's not as obviously, it's a little kind of smaller game. This it was DLC for this. They did release it on its own, but that game's just pure ship combat, liberating forts, like disrupting slave trade. Like, I mean, that game's great.
Yeah.
Like, it took all the good stuff about this game and just made it more.
Yeah.
And if they take that and put all these upgrades in that and, like, all the excess naval and fleet stuff, like, add that to that, absolutely, bring it on.
Is there anything you can think of that you didn't like about Black Flag that they've not fixed for this?
Not that I don't think there's anything I haven't seen mentioned. No.
It feels like they've hit everything.
I mean, Black Flag was already really good.
Right, it was already a really good game. Even 13 years later, it's still a good game.
If Rogue didn't exist, I would have played it again. But Rogue is just a better version of this in terms of, like,
what you
the
want
quest
from
design
this.
and what I want from it. This looks like it's basically going to be even better.
Yeah.
So no issues there.
Yeah, I mean, this is already one of my favorite Assassin's Creeds. Like, the stealth didn't bother me as much as it bothered you, but
I would still put it in, like, the top 3 or top 4.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably Brotherhood. It's hard
Origins.
It's hard for me to count the Ancient Trilogy in there. Like, they're very different to me. But in terms of the classic ones, I'd probably go Brotherhood, Rogue, this. Odyssey's in there. Odyssey's up there. Shadows is probably up there. That's probably it.
I've enjoyed them all. I've never played an Assassin's Creed game I didn't like.
No, I did. I don't like Revelations.
Oh, really?
I think Revelations sucks.
Wow.
It's too weird, too different. The first person platforming sections are terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you that Brotherhood is probably the best of them all.
I don't think it's a good ending for Ezio. I mean, the real ending is that animated film, but, like, I hated Revelations.
Swanland's asking if you can go into Black Flag without knowing the other games.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
It won't be a problem at all.
I mean, as I remember it pretty well explains what's happened. I mean, you basically have to get introduced to the Assassins Templar conflict in the context of the lead up to the American Revolution anyway. So go nuts.
Yeah. It's not a problem at all, Swanland.
As long as you know there are 2 opposing secret societies, you're pretty much ready to go.
Yeah,
they'll get you there.
Silksnake says I bailed when Egypt came out and Shadows got me back in. I like them all. I have liked every Assassin's Creed.
I played Origins 100% completion twice.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
I like all the games for the most part, other than Revelations.
Yeah.
Some of them are better. I mean, I'm not counting like the handheld games, like the DS games,
PSP games.
But although, I mean, Liberation, the HD remake of Liberation was good.
Yeah.
It's never been bad. I want to like 2 more than I do, but I tried to replay the Ezio collection a couple years ago, and whoa!
I mean, the first one's even worse.
That game, oh yeah, but like you think if the second one is like the one that like got it right, and I go like, oh no,
maybe not.
I mean, the story is still good. Ezio's still a good character. Corey May's writing is still a lot of fun. Like he's got a couple of all-time lines in there. The early on, especially where Ezio's like the philandering young Italian lad, and his mother's like, it's like, you need outlets, Ezio. He's like, I have outlets, mother. He's like, I mean other than a vagina.
Yeah.
Like, oh damn, I didn't know they were gonna go there. And then his uncle with like, it's me, Mario.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of fun going on there, and Assassin's Creed doesn't have fun.
Yeah.
As often as it should. And
I agree with
one
that.
of the reasons this game is also so good is because it's hard not to have fun while you're swashbuckling.
It really is.
I mean, Edward Kenway enjoys being Edward Kenway.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you cannot get around that. And that was one of the fun things about Ezio, too, is Ezio, for the most part, really liked being Ezio.
Yeah, he did.
Ezio Auditory Differenza.
It creates a vibe, for sure. Yeah.
It's one of the sad things about Revelation as well, is like Ezio kind of regrets his whole life in that game. And there's not really any clear reason. I mean, mostly because he never got explanations for all the weird shit he saw. Because they were all just, every time he did, they just turned and started talking to the camera and mentioning Desmond. He's like, who the fuck is Desmond? Like,
right.
I guess that would be frustrating.
Yeah, I guess it would, for sure. So anyway, that's pretty much all the information we have on Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Again, as of right now, it's coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. It is launching on July 9th of this year.
It's also a good place to put it.
Yeah, it's a great, because I just looked ahead. July is
nothing
really
in July,
and
it's a good summer game.
It is, yeah. Out on the 7 seas, sailing the 7 in the Caribbean.
The Caribbean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so I think it's coming out of a good time. In a good window with not a lot of competition, and at least the base game was great, and it sounds like they fixed pretty much every criticism I had of the early version of it. So things are looking good for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced.
I guess the big criticisms of it, I think, are the eavesdropping and stealth missions, and the fact that by modern standards, I think a lot of the ship management stuff would be very shallow. But it sounds like they're addressing all of that.
Yep.
So.
Justin Horman says, I had a lot of fun with Assassin's Creed 4, but I was avoiding the story missions as hard as I could because I hated whenever they took you off the boat. Yeah. I don't think you're alone. Obviously, this guy right here
you made me get off the boat in that game. I'm just like, here we go. So I'm not going to do anything interesting. I know that.
Yeah. See if we have any other comments very quickly before we move on to our next topic here.
Why should I have to get off the boat? I'm the captain. You go listen to the fucking rich guy babble about shit.
Swanland says, I haven't played many of the AC games. Never finished one. Wow. Interesting. I mean, it's not like the first couple were short, but after that, like...
They got pretty extensive when
very
quickly. When they really embraced the open. When they realized, like, after, like, 2, that, like, everybody really wanted the big open world collectible thing.
Yeah.
And leaned into it. Because, like, early on, they didn't... Like, the flags and the feathers were basically, like, afterthoughts. Because they're like, oh, people are going to want to run around and do stuff in the world. Really? Yeah. And, like... because I remember I knew people on the team for that. They're just like, like some of us were like, yeah, absolutely, people are going to want to go around and explore the world instead of just use it as a backdrop, and like management had to be convinced of that. And I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
Like, then why build it if there's no reason to run around in it? Like, what is this, Mafia 2?
Yeah. Archivist42 on YouTube says a big appeal of Black Flag for me was just the setting. The Caribbean has amazing colors. Yeah, and that was the other thing. He's right. Like, all the Assassin's Creeds had been kind of gray, black, white, brown, and red up until this.
And also, so is this one. Go back and look at
you're right.
The remake is really adding a lot of... I mean, it was still the tail end of the brown, gray, bald bro era. Like we're still pulling out of that. Yeah. And like you go back and look at a lot of the old... it was funny, though, because like, so there's the scene where you first get the jackdaw and first fight the guys. Kind of the big inciting incident where he decides to be a pirate and be who he is.
Yeah.
And in the original game, and I'm sure in this one too, it happens at the end of a big storm. They get caught in a big, basically, typhoon almost. And, the scene is very dark and drab, and there's clips of that in the new footage, but it's all beautiful and sunny.
Yeah.
It's the same cutscene, but the weather's... and like, oh my God, they ruined the weather. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they just want to show it as, like, bright and beautiful because that's what they're showing off in this reveal. I'm sure in the game
the weather will change. I mean, that's one of the big changes. They've done a lot of work on the weather. Yeah.
So like, if you actually go back and look at the old one, it was more colorful than the others, but it's by modern standards, it's still pretty drab,
dingy.
It's pretty, and this is a big upgrade.
Blitch's SLXM. I've only ever played Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Wow.
Are you younger than us, I'm guessing? That'd be my guess.
I used to look forward every year, every October. You got a new Assassin's Creed
like
game.
Clockwork. And they were always good.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way they did it every year, which is just mind-boggling. Time Zimmy says, I finished AC1 and the 2 trilogy and then just dropped off, then bought Valhalla, but not sure I even played it. Valhalla was a monster.
It was.
It's just so big and intimidating.
I think my final save time on Valhalla was like 180 hours, and I didn't even bother doing that last big DLC with all the Norse mythology stuff because all that stuff was incredibly boring.
Yeah, that game was kind of boring in general. I thought
it went on too long. It was just like not. I mean, I don't even mean like the main game. I mean, they just supported it for 2 years, and
I know
it just went on. And I'm like, more DLC.
I never finished it. I never finished that game.
I finished the game. I did not finish that DLC because it was just extraneous, and I was like, I don't need to go through this whole thing.
I played it I played it for like 40 hours or something insane, but that wasn't enough.
I think Odyssey remains the best of those 3.
Yeah.
Just at the balance right, and it's the most colorful.
It is.
It's gorgeous. It's the Aegean
Greece.
Sea. It's the Greek Isles. It's
beautiful.
It's fantastic.
Yep. All right, it's time to move on.
And Cassandra is maybe their best protagonist ever. Like, I love Cassandra. She is probably the funniest Assassin's Creed protagonist. She's just got an attitude. She's like Geralt. She's a professional. She's got no time for these morons. Once she learns, it's sort of like Aloy, where once she learns the truth of the world, she just sort of has to deal with the fact that no one else understands, and like she probably couldn't explain it to them. So she's like, just tell me what you need me to do, and I'm just gonna go do it, and I'm never gonna talk to you ever again. And like it's I find it very cathartic.
Yeah. Yep.
I love Cassandra.
Yep. All right, next up in GameFace 478, we're going to talk about a game called The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. If you are somebody who was not a fan of Mass Effect Andromeda, and you've been waiting for a really long time for Mass Effect 5, and maybe you're starting to wonder if maybe Mass Effect 5 never comes out, we did get a little update on it this week where BioWare just said, we're working.
We're working on it. I mean, but
that's all I need to hear.
It's a bad time for the BioWare formula.
Yeah.
Spider's officially...
I wanted to mention that in the housekeeping, too.
Spider's officially confirmed they are being liquidated.
Yeah, that sucks. They were kind of like one of our little studios that we always rooted for.
But like, again, they fucked up.
They had their chance.
They fucked up. Like, they made... Greedfall was like, I think their next game, like, they might be closing in on like Mass Effect 1 quality.
Yep. And then they threw it all away.
And then they threw it all away, made a mediocre Souls clone, and then...
With, like, turn-based combat and, like...
No.
Greedfall 2 I thought had weird,
Steel Rising is not a...
I was talking about Greedfall 2.
Souls clone. Steel Rising is a Souls clone.
Gotcha.
The next game after Greedfall was Steel Rising,
which
is a mediocre Souls-like. And then they did Greedfall 2 as an inexplicable genre shift. Well, I guess not inexplicable. I imagine they didn't have the money.
Yeah.
So they made it a turn-based strategy game, like
RPG-ish thing.
Like, not what anyone wanted. It kind of languished in early access for like a year, and now it's just done.
Yeah, the game launched, and 6 weeks later, Spiders is gone.
Yeah.
So we never even reviewed.
I didn't even realize it hit 1.0.
We haven't reviewed it on the show.
And looking at the responses to it, a lot of people who played it didn't realize it hit 1.0 either. It's.
Well, let me just
tell you. I don't think
it
was finished.
Looking at the upcoming release calendars for June and July, we may come back to Greedfall 2 in June. I mean, luckily we have, like, not E3 in June to fill up a lot of episodes, but there's not a lot of games coming out, so... All right, let's talk about The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. This is based off of books and a TV show, is that right?
Yeah. It was books first, but most people know it as a TV show.
Did you read the books at all, or did you just jump on with the TV show?
I watched the TV show first, but I did read one of the books.
Oh, okay. So this game is based on the first 2 seasons of the show and the first 2.5 books. So from what I've managed to figure out doing research, and I've never watched The Expanse or read an Expanse book at all, so I'm coming into this blind completely on the franchise. But from what I can tell, it sounds like this game starts off exactly how the books and the TV show start off. Now, this demo doesn't have cutscenes showing this stuff. They put up a little, when you first start playing, they put up a splash screen with a bunch of text sort of explaining the setup. And basically what happened is you are living on this space base that has been inundated with some mysterious disease. Nobody knows where it came from, but it's taken over the ship and it's killing everybody. As everybody on the ship is dying or dead, this other faction shows up on the ship and invades the ship. As it turns out, that faction had seeded your base with the disease. And so it was their plan all along to get the disease on the base, make everybody sick or dead, and then come in and barge in and sort of take over.
Rude.
Rude. The organization, you probably know the name of it if you watch the shows.
It's been many years.
I'm trying to find it in my notes here, but I don't see it. So what happens is you're one of the few people who manages to escape the base. You get in a little pod ship and you escape as they're attacking your base. The problem is you take that pod ship to your base, to like the mothership or whatever, and the enemy follows you there. So you get to your mothership, you land, you start telling them what's going on, they don't believe you or whatever. As soon as they are like, I don't know, that seems like a bunch of hogwash to me, they get attacked by that same organization that had seeded the ship with the disease.
That does tend to happen to protagonists.
Yeah, and this is where you pick up here in the gameplay. You are right now trying to defend your mothership from this horrible organization that killed pretty much your entire base and is now trying to take out your mothership. So that's the setup for it. And again, I've not watched the shows or read the books, so I definitely had to pay attention when I read that little splash screen that they put up. Now, once you get into the game, this game does play remarkably like Mass Effect. And that sounds awesome if you're a Mass Effect fan looking for a Mass Effect game, but it is a little crazy to think that Mass Effect 3 is now pretty darn old. And as I played this demo, I struggled to find too much about it that was different from Mass Effect.
Good.
Even right down to vaulting over cover, it's the same blue arrows telling you to vault over. I mean,
if it ain't broke,
right,
don't fix it.
It is kind of shameless, but look.
Well, who else is doing it?
Right. That's what my point. Like, I don't hold it against them because they're filling a void that people are asking them to fill. So, again.
If EA won't do it, somebody else will do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem with that.
Me either, honestly. So you're seeing here, like, there are skill trees. Now, one thing that is a little bit different from Mass Effect is how you deal with your companions. Now, obviously, there's companions in Mass Effect. There's companions in this, too. Up to 2 other people will be with you at a time. In this demo, at first you were alone. Eventually, you got one other person to fight alongside you. But in the final game, you will have a 3-person squad fighting alongside you. And one of the things, and you probably noticed it in the B-roll already, is
that guy's foot?
What'd you say?
Is that guy's foot?
No.
That's what I noticed.
Is the new feature where you work with companions. Oh, you mean the guy with his legs sticking up? Yeah. And there you can see the arrows, just like Mass Effect, to vault over. I mean, it's kind of shameless, but who cares? So the one thing that
at that point, you might as well tell people that, you're using A to jump?
Yeah.
You're stealing Mario's thing, huh?
I mean, seriously. So anyway, the one thing that it does do that is different is how you work with your companions. So you can instruct your companions on the fly. And again, you probably saw it in the B-roll back there. There are environmental things in each room that your teammates can interact with. And an icon will pop up, and I'm playing on an Xbox controller because I played this on PC. And the Y button will pop up. And if you tap it, then your comrade, your companion, will automatically do something in that room to cause an explosion, cause things to fall, or whatever. So, like, for example, the first time I got to use it, I just hit the Y button, and my teammate fired a rocket that hit a bunch of ductwork that was over top of a bunch of enemies, and it fell down onto the enemies and killed all the enemies. And one of the funnest parts of this game, Matt, is going into each room and figuring out, like, the cool stuff that you can do in the room. Like, I looked forward to going in through a new doorway and going into the room and seeing what my crew could do once we got in there. Now, like Mass Effect, you level up your companions, and they get better at what they do, and they have their own skill trees, and you can have a little bit of a hand in what they ultimately become. And again, you control them. Though I never did reach a moment in this where I actually took full control over a companion, so I don't know if that's in there or not, but I didn't get to experience it at all. Now you're starting to see some of the dialogue stuff, again, pretty much straight out of Mass Effect. Even in this demo, there were 2 decisions that were like big time decisions where I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, what am I doing? It's a stupid 2-hour demo or whatever. And I don't think that what you do in this carries over to the final game. So I was like, what the heck am I doing spending so much time thinking about this? But it makes the point of, even in the very early going of this game, they built up what was happening around you so much in a short period of time that it made decisions very difficult right from the get-go. Another thing that didn't help was that you didn't have probably as much context as you would have if you were playing the final game. Because again, they just kind of throw you into the deep end and like, this is what's happening, go.
Oh, it's Protogen.
Protogen. Yep, that's the enemy in this. So
yeah, a little less obviously named than Pinkwater.
Yeah, maybe just slightly. Yeah, so it is an RPG, so there's leveling up that rewards you with both new combat abilities and new social skills. And that's what you level up with your companions. It's their social skills. So when you go to level up, there's a tree that basically shows you like how you've interacted with them and how you can influence them. And here's tap Y. I waited. I was stupid. And I waited till they move away. I didn't quite understand what it was doing. I was like, wait, is that going to send my teammate over there? I'm like, but so I'll wait for them to leave and then I'll send him over there? And then I realized, no, I need to tap that to actually make him do something. So there it is. So he shoots it. Look at the idiots run underneath it to die. They were safe and they ran underneath and died. So anyway, there are typical RPG trappings in this, just like you would expect, and I think you would want, especially if you're a Mass Effect fan and you're looking for a game that plays like Mass Effect. There's conversation trees, just like Mass Effect. You can spend your skill points to improve both yourself and your squad, but also individual abilities like your firepower or your gadget effectiveness. You can also level up your companions individually. There are workbenches scattered around the environments that you can go walk up to where you can upgrade weapons and your gear with resources that you've gathered. So there's resource gathering in this where you're just constantly like picking up stuff out of crates and things like that. Again, very Mass Effect-like, but it does feel like that is something that's kind of starting to dissipate out of RPGs a little bit. I feel like I've played a couple in the last couple years that didn't make you pick up tons of stuff as you go through each environment. But this kind of adheres to sort of that old aesthetic. What else is there? That's pretty much it, honestly, as far as what was in this demo. This demo is only about an hour long, so there's a good bit of combat. One thing I will say is that your companions are pretty stupid, and they do really dumb stuff. Like, for example, there was a scene just a moment ago where an enemy came up those stairs and was fighting me and shooting me with a shield, and my teammate was standing behind him and could have easily shot him in the back and, not been affected by the shield. He just ignored it. They let enemies just come rushing up without shooting them. They ignore enemies. They ignore you sometimes. So
it's also very Mass Effect.
Yeah. This game is a year out. So it's not coming out until spring of 2027. So there's still a lot of work to be done. And you can see it in this demo, but I was pleasantly surprised at how polished and near finished at least this one section of the game was. So the cover-based shooting, at first I thought it was kind of squirrely, but it's pretty simple. If you want to take cover, and again, this is on an Xbox controller. If you want to take cover, you hit A. If you want to move or transition to another piece of cover, you put the cursor over that piece of cover, and the A button will show on that cover. And then you hold the A button, and they will sprint from the cover that they're in right then to that next piece of cover. And I've played other games that are kind of like that, but this system does feel at least a little bit different and a little bit new. And once I figured out how it worked, I thought it worked great. So
I'm surprised there's a demo. They did a demo for this far out.
I know. It's really shocking. And again,
more than a year.
It's like 90 minutes long. Like, it's extensive.
I thought this was going to be this year.
Yeah.
They had hinted a bit, but they're saying June.
Yeah. Of next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a while, but I'm glad because it's already showing very well. Like, the other thing I was surprised about in this is
Exodus this year?
I think so.
It's claiming
but
it's
my
this year?
guess is it's not.
Probably not.
I think it probably won't make it.
But it might need to make it if GTA moves.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much locked down. So yesterday, Strauss Zelnick from Take-Two said everyone's going to be taking off work on the 19th. Marketing is going to start ramping up here in the next month. So it's looking pretty good for GTA, but again, something could happen.
Rockstar don't care.
That's true.
If they decide.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
If they decide in September they don't like something, that could be it.
So I liked the cover system and the stop and pop gameplay in this. At first, the controls felt a little squirrely, like it was too erratic, but once I kind of tuned into them and just realized that the sticks were very sensitive, I was sighting people up, no problem. So I feel like the cover, gunplay in this feels real good and familiar, but not so familiar that it feels like you're playing the same game that you've already played before. One thing is that there's no magic in this game. They have what's... Instead,
the Expanse gets weird about certain things. It's
hard.
It's hard sci-fi until it's not.
Yeah. Instead, there's something that they call exploits, where your companion can scan enemies for weaknesses or environmental opportunities and then do tons of damage. So there's not magic per se, but there's sort of a special system that you can use with your companions that maybe makes it feel like you're using magic, but you're really not. The UI in this, I would argue you could probably use a little bit of work. You can see along the bottom there. Most of that stuff is pretty self-explanatory. But when you're
it's not very well laid out.
Yeah.
Like there's an elegance to how Mass Effect lays out information, and this feels very placeholder.
Yeah.
Probably is.
So you have special attacks on...
Like there's got to be a more thematic way to display your health and shield, and I mean, it looks very boxy.
Yeah. So you have 2 special attacks. There's one on each of the shoulder buttons, and then you have a special that you can fire off by squeezing both of the shoulder buttons at once. So again, that's very typical. But when you're out in the world, it can be a little difficult to tell what you can or cannot interact with, because for whatever reason, they decided to put blue icons around a lot of stuff in the world that you can't interact with, but the stuff that you do interact with also has sort of that same blue outline on it. It's a little weird. I found myself walking up to stuff and trying to interact with it, and it wouldn't.
Well, I mean, the standard thing is to do that with is red is can interact and blue is can interact, or green and blue.
Right. But they didn't do that for whatever reason. That's, again, something that's easily fixed. Maybe they will for the final game, but that was just a little sort of nitpick that I noticed. Again, this game is a year out. And then because, you're using stuff for crafting and all that sort of stuff, there's lots of note reading, there's lots of pillaging through rooms and lockers for documents, and pillaging through boxes to try to get resources for the crafting and all that stuff. I mean, ultimately, it is a pretty shameless ripoff of Mass Effect, let's be honest. Other than the companion stuff, there isn't that much that sort of sets this game apart.
Well, the fact that it exists sets it apart.
Oh, good point. The fact that I played it sets it apart. And a year early, no less, I played it.
I mean, Mass Effect was more than 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. Unless you count Andromeda, which I don't.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
I mean, I did replay Andromeda right before Veilguard came out, and I will say that, once you remove it, if you try to ignore it being Mass Effect, it's fine.
That's what I said all along. Remember when I reviewed it, I said that.
But,
it's a good action game. It's not a good Mass Effect game.
It was very stupid to cram it into being Mass Effect, to retcon it into Mass Effect, because you can tell it was made as its own thing. It doesn't share themes, it doesn't share ideas, it doesn't. It's
there's a whole story behind that, but it's not worth telling.
I mean, the story is just EA's stupid.
Pretty much. That is at the end of it. The Crib Notes version is EA's stupid. Yeah.
So just people who never did the job telling people who do the job how to do the job.
Yeah. And you're seeing now in this B-roll, there is some variety and some interesting parts of this. So, the zero-G stuff is probably some of the coolest stuff, because you have these gravity boots on that suck you down to the ground, but you can go over, 90-degree angles and stay adhered to the ground.
Yeah, the gravity stuff is very important to the Expanse. They do a lot of stuff with gravity. They do a lot of stuff with, inertia. I mean, they try to get the science as... not necessarily accurate, but as believable as possible, while still getting a story told. And for the most part, it works. You saw that even in the opening, where they had to swing the ship around and do a reverse burn to slow down to attack speed, and then swung back around. And all the guns are on swivels, so you can keep them trained on whatever thing is in front of you. I mean, that is the Expanse. The Expanse, it always reminds you it's in space. Yep.
And so you can see here's a spacewalk in zero-G. That's the other thing I would say, is there's a little bit more variety, at least in this little section of the game that I played anyway, than there was in Mass Effect.
But also, Mass Effect is just space opera. Yeah. Mass Effect is not concerned with physics. They're not concerned with science. Anything you need to happen to make it seem conveniently working like you'd expect, it's the Mass Effect field, and that's it's the Force.
Yeah,
it's what it's whatever you need to make it what you want to make it.
This scene right here is hilarious.
Part of the Expanse and the approach of sort of the harder sci-fi is that like the science and like reality problems are part of what they need to solve to advance the story, which is a more, to some people is a more interesting idea. That's not, I don't really care. I like space opera stuff. Like Mass Effect's approach is fine, but that is where you're going to find it defining itself apart from Mass Effect. Is also you're not levitating people with magic sorcery fields. But that will set it apart, I think, is the fact that you have to think about things like that.
This is a cool scene. So this kind of explains what I was talking about earlier about how they work with gravity and the zero-G boost. Watch. They think they're going to fall, and they're hanging on the edge of a cliff, but just watch this. They're like, oh my God, we're going to die. Oh, wait a minute. No, we're not. Mm-hmm. We're upside down, and we can just put our feet on the ground. Like, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's hard. There's a lot of like perspective shifting stuff if you watch the show too. Like,
and I'll say this too, like fighting in these areas is tough because you're fighting on the Z-axis and there are enemies everywhere. Like they're floating out in space too, and they're places you never would dream that they would be. And they're generous, like you don't take so much damage that you die or anything like that, but you learn very quickly that, man, I got to put my head on a swivel when I'm in these zero-G environments because you just do not know where the enemies are going to be. So I found that was cool. Like, again, it's been so long since I played Mass Effect, it felt like I was playing a new game playing this. It really did. And again, this is, you can try to apply for this. I'm not sure how they're selecting who gets to play it or not. I think it's just
pre-ordering it.
Is that the only way?
Yeah, you gotta pay.
Yeah, because I saw too, it seems like the versions that you have to buy to get to play this, the cheapest one is over $100.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder if like, do you guys need money or something? Like, because it feels like you shouldn't.
Right.
If you're making this big Expanse thing, like it feels like you should have that all kind of locked down.
I reached out to them. I was just like, I'm pressed. I want to give it coverage, and they sent me a code, so I get to play it that way. But then I started looking into it, and yeah, I think the cheapest you can play this is to spend like $120.
That's one of the reasons I haven't played it. Yeah. So I mean, I do certainly intend to play this game, but I'm not going to give you $100 a year and a half almost before you give me the game. Like that's crazy.
I think what really shocked me more than anything is how polished, and I hate to use this phrase, AAA this game is.
Yeah.
Like, it is, you can't tell that this
if you're going to use this license, it better be.
Yeah. I mean, this studio is very skilled. Like, I feel like maybe BioWare has something to try to live up to here now. Like, is Mass Effect 5 going to look this good?
Is Mass Effect 5 going to look like anything?
Right. So, if this is what we have to have for a sci-fi sort of soap opera RPG going forward, this may not be a bad alternative.
I mean, between this and, if you want the space opera, you can go to Exodus. Mm-hmm. If you want the soap opera, you can go to Expanse, because there is a lot of interpersonal drama in Expanse, obviously.
Yep.
But, between this and Exodus, it's a shame they are both beginning with E and sort of have a
they are hard to kind of separate from each other.
Yeah, but like...
Exodus is the Matthew McConaughey game.
The Matthew McConaughey, like, much more Mass Effect tonally, I think, because it has, like, kind of, science so advanced it might as well be magic, sort of hidden civilizations. There's not really a lot of that in Expanse, or at least not early on.
Are you cool with them just sort of replicating what happened in the books and the TV show?
Sure. Yeah. It's an interesting story.
And it seems like a lot of people maybe haven't experienced it. I never watched The Expanse. I didn't even know I should watch it, when it was out.
It's good. It's it had to switch to Amazon at one point. They finished the series largely apparently because Jeff Bezos wanted to see how it ended.
Really?
Like, he basically bought the rights so they would finish it.
When he was cool.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever really cool, but because that's still kind of a dickish thing
it
to
is.
do, even if we all benefited from it, if we want to see the end of the Expanse. Basically why Rings of Power exists too.
Right. Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah. And I liked the first 2 seasons of that.
Well, there's only 2 seasons.
Oh, but... yeah, you're right. I got like 3 episodes into the second season and I never went back.
No, same.
Even the end of the first season,
the first season was fine.
Yeah.
I really didn't like the Hobbit wizard stuff until it got go. It's like it suffers from that whole prestige TV show thing of just like, well, this is gonna pay off one day. but not till the end of the season.
Yeah.
But we got to pay these actors for the whole season, so you're going to watch them fuck around and do nothing for like 8 episodes until they get around to actually doing the thing we want them to do.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God, just go. Every time it would cut back to the Harfoot stuff, I'm just like, oh, stop. It's so dumb.
Yeah. I'm watching the final season of The Boys right now. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hooked in. I just want to see what happens to all of them. And now there's so many spin-offs. The other thing, too, about TV shows now is
they already killed that one spin-off this week. Gen V or whatever.
And it was like one of their most viewed shows ever. Even the second season of it. It's so weird. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, but anyway, like, they're killing everybody off. But it doesn't matter because, like, now when you watch a popular TV show that there's going to be, like, 5 spin-offs after it's over. Like, you don't have that same, like, finality when you watch the final season of something anymore. At least I don't anyway. So it's like when people die in it, I'm like, okay, so now I know that they're just not going to be in the spin-off. Like,
yeah. Well, say what you want about the comic books. A lot of people think the show is better than the comic books, and I can see that. Certainly, Homelander is a much better character in the show than he ever was in the comics. He's very one-dimensional in the comics for the most part.
Well, that actor.
Oh yeah,
he nails it.
And Anthony
He's
Starr
so good,
is a whole
different
level.
Yeah.
But like that comic ended.
Yeah.
Like it came to a conclusion.
I mean, that's what's happening with this
season. Were some spin-offs. There were some side things, but that story was told.
Yeah.
And it was over.
Yeah.
And you respect that to some degree, even if you hate Garth Ennis for everything else.
Yeah. There's going to be spin-offs. Although you're right, they already killed one of them, so maybe not. But my guess is there's going to be like 3 or 4.
You can do whatever you want in the world of the Boys. Yeah. I guess. But like the story of the Boys versus Vought Industries is pretty much told by the end.
Do you know already what happens at the end?
I mean, I don't know what the show's going to do. I know what I've read the.
You know what the comics do?
Yeah, I can't imagine the show will end the same way as the comics because I feel like the show has diverged so far that you can't do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So
don't spoil anything.
I don't think it.
There's only like a few episodes left.
I don't think it. I mean, there's no way the big twist of the comic is in the show because it's just not
can't happen.
Set up that way.
Gotcha.
There's no way.
Well, let's check in with you guys quickly and see if you guys have any questions about this game. If you do, go Ask Sifted Games and I'll answer them. Again, I played about 90 minutes of the game. I'll answer whatever I can. Let's see. It's $50 for base game, $80 to get early access. Interesting. Because I went and searched for that and found it, and I thought there was 2 different versions you could choose from to buy. One of them was like $300, and I was like, holy crap.
I'm sure there's an over $100 super duper.
Yeah, then I thought the other one was $129 or something like that. But
there probably is one.
80's not bad.
I wouldn't be surprised if you got the base game, the $80 one, the $100-something one with all the deluxe season pass shit, and then it's probably like a $400 one that comes with a physical statue or something.
Yeah, collector's edition or something. Yeah.
I mean, they don't do that too often anymore with games, but the Expanse, I can see them thinking that they can get away with that.
I went to their official website because, like, I watched a trailer for the demo, and then in the description it said, click here to get access. I clicked it, and I went there, and their splash page, it just had 2 options to choose from there. So anyway, you may be right, but that's just not what I saw bills above. Thank you for filling in with your experience. Contano, thank you for Twitch Prime. Appreciate that. Presentation looked pretty rough in parts, but I imagine they'll iron that out. Ilya GX, I must admit this looks way better than what I expected out of a tie-in for a sci-fi channel TV show.
I mean, the Expanse looked pretty good for what it was.
Yeah.
The show.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, it is tying in with the show because most people know the show, but it's more of a license for the IP as a whole, not just the TV show. I am more interested in Exodus, if I'm honest, though.
Are you?
Yeah.
How come?
Because it's more weird. It's more Mass Effect-y. It's more space opera.
Okay. Vincent asks, do you think this team needs money urgently since they're essentially selling their vertical slice? Yeah. It seems like it.
It certainly raises the question.
Yeah. It's not stupid to wonder that at all. I mean, it is weird. If they're a year out.
That far out. Because you're like, who's going to remember this in a year?
That is not a good sign, actually. That's a good point. You can't point to a piece of cover and hold A to have Phoenix run to it. You can in the Division. Yeah, the Division's cover system is very similar to this, for sure. Swanland, does the Expanse go more into speculative fiction territory?
I would say so in terms of like the tech people have used to live in space. There is a fair amount of that. Not in the sense of like what might be out there. It's more of a humanity is a spacefaring species now, but like it's very, very hard for people to live in space. The show doesn't get into like the book goes into more like the physical differences between people who like grew up on Mars versus grew up in the colonies versus grew up on Earth, and how like the more and more pronounced those differences become, the more and more each group feels like a different species.
I see.
Sort of, like it's real easy to oppress people on another planet.
Yeah.
Because you never, ever, ever have to worry about running into them.
Yeah. That's a good point.
It's extremely easy to other a group of people on another world.
Yeah. That's true. Yep. All right. Well, there you go. That is The Expanse Osiris Reborn. Again, it's coming in spring, summer of 2027. Right now, it's for PC, PS5, Xbox Series. No Switch 2 version for now. I do wonder when that's going to start changing. And we're going to start seeing every game have a Switch 2 version.
Probably when they Switch 2 games start proving they sell.
Yeah. I mean, my guess would be by the end of this year, probably we'll reach that.
I mean, some of it's a mix of like, do we have an audience for this on that platform? And some of it's just like, we don't have any dev kits yet.
Or some of it's like, do we want to bust our asses trying to get that thing to run on the Switch 2?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that hard at this point.
Yeah,
it's like you
surprisingly,
just turn some settings down and call it a day, and it seems to more or less work as long as your engine is functional, and this seems like it would be fine.
Yeah, they just put up a demo of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth yesterday for Switch 2, and it looks stunning. Yeah. Like, developers are figuring it out.
I think it's just a matter of time because the dev kits got to people so late.
Yeah. Yep.
Like by June next year, I bet there will be a Switch 2 version. Probably alongside everything else.
Yeah, probably. All right, it's time to move on to our next topic. And again, we have like 12 today. We got a lot to get to. Next up, we're going to talk about the Steam Controller 2. Matt, we were kind of wondering what was going on with Valve because they had talked about putting out their brand new Steam machine first, followed up with or congruently with the controller. As it turns out, RAM prices are outrageous. Valve can't build the Steam machine yet, but because there is no RAM in a controller, it was able to manufacture and, as of May 4th, release the Steam Controller 2. They also announced the price of it, which is $100. And people are kind of freaking out about the price, but isn't
controllers cost $80 now?
I mean, so for the generic ones.
Yeah, something with these pads on it's going to cost $100.
I mean, isn't this the Pro controller for PC right here?
More or less.
I mean, and we have no problem paying like $180 or whatever for those, but for some reason, because it's the Steam Controller 2, they're not okay with it. I don't get it. Like, to me, this controller
that's lower than I expected it
to be.
Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if it is really like the best controller you can buy for PC, and most of the people who have reviewed this so far have said that.
I mean, I guess I'd need to hold it, but I hate where those sticks are.
Oh, yeah.
I hate where those sticks are.
Did you use the trackpads at all? Did you ever try them out?
I've never used a Steam controller for any length of time outside of like demos and stuff.
Me too. I've never owned one, but I've played them at events and things like that. I've used it before. And it
works fine it's a pretty impressive mouse substitute. Like when you don't have it, but it's obviously not as good as a mouse. And it's also not as good as a normal controller for normal controller stuff, so I just never saw a reason to have one.
What is the reason, really? I mean, other than the trackpads, which I get.
That is the reason. The reason is to be able to play it in big screen mode and still be able to play mouse-related games. That's it. That's why. That's the reason the Steam controller exists, is so you do not lose PC functionality when you're using your PC as a console via Steam.
Do you see people playing, like, RTS games on their PC on their TV?
Can.
You think they will?
Like, I wouldn't do that like competitively, but like playing through like the campaign of Rise of Nations or something, you could probably do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not ideal.
It's not ideal, but it works.
I'm curious because now Valve has, and I love this about Valve, Valve has been so insistent on making sure that every single controller works on Steam. And I've admired Valve for doing that, like the DualSense PlayStation 5 controller works great on Steam. You can use the Switch 2 Joy-Con on a PC. You can use the Wii Remote on a PC. You can use Xbox controllers on PC. Like, Valve has done a great job of making sure anything you plug into that USB port is going to work playing games on Steam. And so it's just a little confusing to me why Valve would sort of go out on a limb putting out a piece of hardware like this.
Because none of them do this.
Yeah.
None of them have the mouse functionality.
It's just all about the trackpad. That's it.
That's it.
And when I used it, it felt squirrely to me.
It's $100, and it's got a lot of the back end, the back button configuration stuff that like
more expensive
the elite controllers have, but you don't. Obviously it doesn't have the levers and stuff.
Yeah, the paddles. Yeah, I have no issue with the price. I mean, $100 for this controller is a really good deal, particularly right now where everything is crazy expensive. Like, I was blown away with $100.
It comes with a charging puck thing. I mean, it seems fine for $100 to me.
It seems like a good deal to me. Like, I'm not sure why people are up in arms about it. All the reviews for it have been great. There wasn't a consistent criticism across all the reviews. Like, there's a couple nitpicks that people had here and there, but none of them were an issue that everybody had a problem with. Like, it's like, I don't like this, but you couldn't find another critic that had the same issue.
I really hate where the sticks are.
Yeah.
And I don't like...
it is weird.
I prefer offset sticks, and I think the right stick is way too close to the buttons.
Yeah, I mean, they're just too close together.
Yeah. Clearly it's small. It's more of a, pro controller size. It's not like, full size sort of thing. But I can't. I might get one just to try it, but I can't see this replacing the Elite 2.
I can't either. Yeah. So. I mean, it's still kind of
because I never use it as a TV on my TV as a game. I always play it at my actual PC. So if I'm gonna if I need to use a mouse, I just use the mouse.
Yeah. Another thing that's cool about this is you can fix the whole thing. So the whole thing is built to be taken apart and have its parts replaced, which is very nice.
If something goes wrong with the Elite 2, you're basically like prying
another
solder
one
apart.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to do some little surgery on mine to get that to work. I mean, I did buy a replacement because they are getting hard to find, the Elite 2, so I have an extra one in case. I got two in case one breaks down.
Yeah.
But now I did fix the original so that stick doesn't drift as much anymore. But like I said last week, it does unscrew.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're pushing the wrong way, and so I'm like, okay, I gotta screw the thing back on while I'm playing and like someone was just like, why don't you just pause? I'm like, shut up. That's why I'm playing a fucking video game.
This thing does remind me a little bit of like kind of cheap knockoff third-party controllers that you get for like mobile and stuff.
I think it
like
looks
that
way, but I mean, obviously I haven't played this, but I mean, I do not think the original Steam controller feels that once you get your hands on it.
It feels solid state.
Yeah.
It feels high quality for sure. And my guess is this does too.
The original Steam controller does not feel like some Mad Cat.
No. This just looks like it.
Yeah,
because it has the goofy stick placement.
It does. It's just like, why is it like that?
I mean, why is it like that?
But because it has to be because
you
got to put the trackpad somewhere.
Yeah, where you can use them basically. Yeah. Because if you put the trackpad at the bottom of the controller, then you can't really go from stick to trackpad or buttons to trackpad.
Or in the middle, it's weird.
Yeah.
You'd have to offset the buttons even more, or the controller would have to be bigger.
I would never play an RTS with a controller like that. That's the only genre left, I think, where I would only play it with a mouse and keyboard. Like, I even play shooters on PC now with a controller.
Well, then there's really no reason for you to ever have one of these.
Yeah, I won't buy one. I'm definitely not going to buy one. Because again, I can plug my DualSense into my PC and it works great, and I have the awesome haptic triggers and everything. And like, does this have those actually?
I doubt it.
Yeah, for $100, it'd be hard to fit it in there. But although PlayStation does, but they sell a lot more than Valve will, so they can afford to not have as big a profit margin. But
also, their controllers break if you look at them funny.
Yeah, yeah. How do you feel about them just calling it Steam Controller instead of adding the 2 to it?
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, it's more of an issue for me, like somebody who runs databases. It's like when they reboot a game, I have to go in and I have to like name the new game, the game title with the year next to it. It's like God of War 2018. It's just called God of War. So in our database, it's God of War 2018. Like, so now we're starting to do that with hardware too.
Well, Steam Controller 2026.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it is. So, yeah, I'm not going to buy it, but to me, if you are a PC gamer and you liked the first Steam controller, for $100 and all the functionality that you're getting, it's a good deal.
Like if I didn't have a backup Elite 2 and my Elite 2 died completely, I would consider getting this instead of trying to track down a $200 controller.
Yeah, because it's double the price as well.
Yeah.
And if you have the components in here and you can rebuild it yourself, like it might be an upgrade. So I think generally it seems like a good product, and based on reviews, it is a good product. And if you're a PC gamer and you do want to play RTS games with a controller, then this is your option. So, and it seems like a pretty good option.
Yeah,
ultimately.
I mean, the thing they seem to use as an example is Balatro, which is, sure.
Yeah.
That works fine with a controller.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Let's check in with you guys and see what I know we have a lot of PC players and PC fans that are patrons and normal viewers to our streams. JJ Forcebreaker, which models with 2 trackpads are cheaper? I'm not sure what he's asking there.
Like, what controllers with 2 trackpads are cheaper than $100?
Well, there's no controller with 2 trackpads.
Well, that's kind of his point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, we said that $100 is a good deal.
I think he agrees with us.
Oh, okay, I see. Erebus Jones, pro tip, don't make the name the primary key on your DB and you're golden. Yeah. Eric Carmena says, put some Loctite on it, Matt. Erebus also says, I get in the current timeline $100 might be a fair price, but it's not good value.
That's what he's replying to there.
Oh, I see. So
that's why it says replying to Erebus Jones.
But Erebus, why would you think $100 is too much for a controller that has all that functionality in it when other controllers that don't have as much functionality, in some cases, cost double?
Probably because he doesn't value that functionality.
I don't either, but I can still see that it's a good deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's not in comparison to, like, just getting a DualSense, I guess.
Yeah. Again, like, I use my DualSense or my Xbox controller on PC, and I don't have any problem with it. So
I mean, I don't prefer the DualSense, but I will switch to the DualSense to play a Sony game because the Sony games want that trackpad.
Yeah, that's true. JJ Forcebreaker, it doesn't come in a classic Steam drab olive.
Yeah.
And he also says the trackpads and extra software support are in their ecosystem. Yeah.
Every once in a while I get that thing, it's like, this game is mostly compatible with your controller. I'm like, what is mostly compatible with the Xbox controller? Like, what's missing exactly?
How could something be missing? Ilya GX, I have the original Steam controller, one of the worst controllers I have ever owned. Innovative trackpads don't make up for the fact that the joysticks and buttons are all bargain basement crap. And it looks like they made the same mistakes this time, too. Interesting. Thank you, Ilya, for jumping in there with your perspective on that. Again, Matt and I have not touched this controller. We're only going on what
the
other
original
critics
didn't feel
have
like
said.
that the times I played with it, but I really didn't. I probably played with a Steam controller probably a total of 30 minutes in my entire life.
Yeah, it's probably been like 2 hours for me or something like that. Silk Snake says, Switch 2 Joy-Con are $90 and those break if you sneeze. Yeah. Cinetike says, I won't buy it because I always play at my desk and only about 25% of games I use a controller. I don't need the extra Steam controller features. Fair enough.
I play like 95% with a controller, but I am at my desk. If it doesn't use a controller, I just move my hand.
Mm-hmm. Vincent says, I'm weird because I use a cheap Logitech controller, the same one that controlled the Titan sub, but wired on PC. You really have that controller that the Titan sub had in it? Wow, that thing was a piece of junk. And we'll let Erebus respond here. By review, the build quality of this thing isn't brilliant, so that contributes to me. But simply, I'm never going to use the trackpad, so that's just a cost with no benefit. It's like a Switch controller, so many gimmicks pushing up the price for very little benefit. Okay, fair enough.
I'm just surprised it didn't push the price further.
Sexual Yacht Club, great username, by the way. I agree with Ilya. I also have the OG one, and like most Valve hardware, it's just not very well made. Interesting. You Shine Bright says they gave away the Steam controller. They gave the Steam controller away for free at some point. I used it once, and the trackpad things felt horrible. Wow, people piling on the Steam controllers here.
I guess it really mattered if you were playing it in a demo situation versus a real world situation.
Yep. And Daring Swoosh says, after years of preferring the Xbox layout, the Switch 2 Pro and DualSense have won me over. What else we got in here? Vincent says, I think it's fine enough. Probably not good enough to control multiple people's lives. Definitely not. Cinetike, don't people like the Steam Deck from a controller standpoint? That's a good point, actually, because it really is the same thing, right? Does it remind you of the Duke aesthetically? Nothing reminds me of the Duke aesthetically.
No, it's too small for that.
Yeah. And then over on YouTube, CFHX with a super chat. Thank you very much. $13.99 Canadian. That's awesome. Thank you. He says, great show, young gentlemen. Thank you for the young part. We appreciate that. Thoughts on Apple's new CEO? I guess I would say that until the current climate subsides, it doesn't matter who the CEO at Apple is. I just saw today.
Like if he comes in and is like, I'm not bending the knee, cool.
It won't matter.
But I do not believe that.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah. So the new laptops from Apple, they're called like the MacBook Neo or whatever. They're $600. Apparently, those are selling like insane numbers.
Faster than they can make them.
Yeah, so much so that it's become already the most popular laptop in the world in like 3 months. That's insane.
Never count Apple out.
Yeah, and the problem is the tariffs are killing them. Like, Trump is killing Apple. Like, right now, their stock would probably be at like $400, and instead it's at like $260.
That's why Tim Apple had to step
Right,
down.
he called him Tim Apple. He doesn't even know who he is. The whole thing is just bonkers. But it doesn't matter who the CEO is until Trump is gone, or until the tariffs go away. Because they can't make the money that they deserve to make.
The Apple stock is also down because of they're not going in hard on Gen AI.
Right. They're being punished by people because they're not doing AI.
They're not following the investment trend.
When ultimately they may end up the winner because they did not dive into AI.
Apple's a survivor.
Yeah.
They went through some weird, dark times, and I'll tell you, I sure wish I'd listened to my gut and bought Apple stock after I saw those candy-colored iMacs at Macworld 99. Because I'm like, I think these might be popular. And good call, genius. Yeah. I should be the next Michael Pachter with that fucking investment advice I didn't take from myself.
Silksnake says he got one for work, and they're amazing. They're incredible. Yeah, you can play Cyberpunk 2077 on them.
They remind me of those old iMacs.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, bargain price, easy form factor, attractive little, like, cool little pop object. Mm-hmm. And here you go.
And great.
I mean, it's quintessential old school Apple.
I've thought about buying one to replace our wonky PC here that keeps giving us problems.
If you can get one,
you can't get them.
Yeah.
I know. So anyway, right now Apple's just getting screwed over by the Trump administration, and if you're an Apple stockholder, you're getting screwed over too. Let me tell you.
I mean, join the club.
Yeah.
I just had some stuff shipped from Japan. You want to know what the tariffs on that? Oh my god! I think I already talked about that.
Yeah, you did.
There's a bunch of cards, and one of them was shipped in a box that apparently looks like a chocolates box. So I got hit with an $8 chocolate box tariff, because you're not like there's a tariff on shipping chocolate.
Yeah.
There's no chocolate in the fucking box.
Corey Film, thank you for Twitch Prime, brother. Appreciate that. Sexual Yacht Club comes in saying, imagine if Apple truly put an effort to make inroads into gaming.
It's just not their thing.
It just doesn't
Never
care.
been their thing.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs didn't think video games were a proper use of technology, despite the fact that he made, I think, close to $1 million off of Breakout after tricking Steve Wozniak into doing it for him.
That's right.
But he never. I mean, it was getting. Even getting him to agree to allow video games on Macs back in the 90s was
torture.
Was hard.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the reasons it was so, Aspire and some of those companies were so, I mean, they almost ran as pirate organizations because you had to sort of unobtrusively put games on Mac. Like Bungie was one of the only Mac exclusive game developers, and even then they never got highlighted by Mac for any. I mean, Apple should have been highlighting the fact that they had what I would consider the best first-person shooter of the era on their platform exclusively with Marathon 2.
They didn't care.
And they did not give a shit.
I mean, to be fair, they were probably right. Because they've done very, very well ever since.
Fine.
Yeah, they did okay.
But, I mean, there's nothing wrong. Would have been nothing wrong with also having that part of your business function. Yeah. And then maybe Apple Arcade wouldn't have been a joke. Footnote.
Yeah, because it is a joke. Yep. CFHX, thanks again for that super chat. All right. It's time to move on. We're going to talk next about Game Pass, but not like we have for the last couple weeks. We just have a smaller-ish story we want to discuss. And as usual, this information comes from Windows Central's Jez Corden. This guy has so many scoops that he can write an article.
You call him 31 flavors.
I mean, it's insane. He can write an article and write for 1,500 words and have a bunch of... And then at word 1,800, he drops a bomb out of nowhere. And a lot of people will read his articles and not even notice it because one thing I will say is he's not a great writer. He doesn't understand how to write a lead and how to inverted pyramid. He doesn't understand the principles of writing. But if you start digging down into his articles, he has gems down in there. And he wrote an article that had all the other...
He buries the lead under strata.
Serious, yeah.
It's like you never know. Like you one of the reasons you don't find out about stuff he does unless you read someone else being like, "Hey, did you read this in this article?"
Yeah,
it's
you
like no, man, I didn't get that far.
No, seriously though.
Salute.
That's
to,
what
to
he
you
does.
Getting through all that.
Like other outlets get more action from his scoops than he does because of the way he writes his articles. Anyway, buried in another article where he talked about all the other stuff everybody else had already talked about, he drops this bomb that Microsoft right now is working on a plan for Game Pass where you pick your own lineup of games. Now, Pachter already discussed this on Pachter Factor Live, and he seems to think that the way they're going to do it is that they're going to let you pick 10 games at the beginning of every month from a list of games or whatever. And when that month is up, you can then shift out any games you want, bring others in, but every month you have to make that commitment to whatever games you're playing for that month. You choose them, and then you have those games for that month. And he thinks that tier would probably come in at around $10 a month or so. Does that seem like a good idea to you?
That seems fine.
Yeah.
Like how many games are you going to play in a month?
2 or 3, like max.
I'll tell you, man, I'm so fucking tired of talking about Game Pass.
I know.
Like, it's so tired. Like, just fucking choose your strategy and get on with it.
Because they just keep coming up with all these ideas. I mean, to be fair, a lot of these ideas were things that Pachter mentioned in Pachter Factor like 6 or 7 months ago. And then he's like, and I went and talked to Microsoft about this. They blew me off. And then, lo and behold...
And someone mentioned in a meeting, and someone's like, that's the best thing I've heard all week.
Exactly.
And like, there you go.
And
You'd probably be paying Pachter some royalties at this point.
I think Pachter's starting to get a little pissed. Because...
I don't blame him.
Because he's
like, at that point, he should be getting a consulting fee or something.
Yeah, because he flew to Microsoft like 3 months ago and met in person with Phil Spencer and talked with him and Sarah Bond about all this stuff. Like literally like 3 or 4 days later, they're all gone. But they told him before he left, like, I don't think your ideas will work. I think your ideas are crazy.
and then the new head just like found the Pachter files in Phil's desk.
Well, see, he started figuring out that like a lot of the stuff he told Phil and Sarah was starting to be quote unquote ideas at Microsoft. So he reached out to Asha and was like, hey, like, I don't know if you know or not, but I just met with everybody there, and a lot of stuff that I told them to do, now people are starting to talk about there, and she never responded to him. And he is piping mad about it. Our last recording, he was beside himself about it. I cut it out. Like, he wanted it to include it in the episode of him going off on her about her not calling. I'm like, dude, she just took over Xbox 2 months ago. Do you have any idea how much is on her plate right now? I'm like, no, like, you can't be mad at her for not responding right away. And he was
give her a couple months.
Yeah, and he wasn't hearing it, man. Because for him, I understand.
Put it up as the 4th of July celebration. If she doesn't call him back by then, maybe.
For him, I do understand it though, because if you went there and you gave them these ideas, and now they're starting to kick the ideas around.
Yeah, if a multi-billion-dollar global mega corporation adopted your ideas from a meeting you went up there to give them, then like, yeah, you should be getting something.
Right, and he feels like they're blowing him off because it's new management there now. So I can understand his frustration, but
we didn't make that deal, so why should we pay you anything?
I can see why he's on edge about it.
No, I do not disagree with him on that.
So I understand why he's so angry. He's being a little irrational right now, though, at the same time.
Yeah, that's probably not the way to get... I mean, that's not going to look good in Discovery.
No.
Let's put it that way.
If it comes to it, because you're right. Like, ultimately...
No, that's possible legal action there.
Right. There could be. So, again, I hear you. I'm tired of talking about Game Pass, too. But it feels like every week there's some new story.
What else are you going to talk about? It's not like they're doing anything else.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, they're not... They're putting out games.
This seems like at least a more realistic approach.
Yeah.
Like a reasonable price for a reasonable amount of things. Like, you don't, at least it feels like that would be something sustainable.
Okay, so I just need to address this because people in the chat are saying it sounds like Pachter gave out free advice and got mad there. No. Nobody flies to Seattle from Long Beach, California to just give away free advice. He went there to try to land a consulting gig with Xbox. They know that's why he was there. Nobody flies to Microsoft and says, hey, I'm going to give you a bunch of free ideas. Feel free to use them if you want. I don't care. I don't want no money for them. Nobody does that. Like, what world are you living in? Like,
yeah, that's just how business works.
Yeah.
Like,
he went there to get a consulting gig. And he said, these are things I'm thinking about. If you hire me, I will help you implement them.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And they're taking his ideas without bringing him in to help implement them. That's what's going on. So,
yeah, I mean, the more copacetic way to bring that is to be like, hey, you need me to like
to make it happen.
To make
this
these
is my
happen
idea.
properly because it's my ideas and I know how it needs to happen.
Yeah. And look, to be fair, I think Pachter's overreacting. I don't think they're really going to take his ideas and not pay him for them. I think she's just overwhelmed right now. She's getting... I can't even imagine how many meetings Asha Sharma is in a day.
Oh, yeah.
Just as a VP at Viacom, I went to 5 a day.
I mean, she's inheriting a mess.
Right. And she's also trying to fix everything.
Yeah.
So if they do end up using Pachter's ideas, I think he will be made whole for them. I don't think they're going to rip him off and steal his ideas.
No, but there's no way this is in their top 20.
Right.
Like, yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, they're like, we're trying to build a console right now. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do with the bigger part of Game Pass. We just announced a price drop.
I mean, maybe at some point have somebody send out some kind of, okay, settle down, Beavis, sort of message to him.
I tried to tell Pachter, I'm like, don't send an angry email, man. Don't do it.
Don't blow it up
Like,
yet.
if you're going to email her about it, make a joke and make fun of it and have fun with it. Don't be angry. Don't say anything. I'm like, because you're right. Like, you have good ideas, and you could literally get paid a ton of money for this. Don't blow it. I'm trying to help him. But we'll see if he takes my advice. But regardless...
And they could use the help.
They could. They absolutely could. A lot of the ideas that he's come up with were great. He's been saying, like, drop the price for how long? And they just dropped the price 2 weeks ago. Like,
I mean, they got to thread a pretty significant needle here.
Yeah.
And they could use another pair of eyes.
Yeah.
Especially from outside of that corporate culture.
Yep.
I think that's one of their big problems. It's hard to see outside of that bubble.
Yep.
And Pachter is not in that bubble. So I think he would be a valuable perspective for them.
Yep. So, to me, this plan of picking your own lineup sounds amazing. Now... you do wonder if you would need to exclude some things, or you have a plan where you can pick like 3 AAA games per month and like 3 AAA, 7 indies or something like that each month. Like, you'd have to probably do something like that to make it work and make it feasible.
Well, I think it more depends on the age of the game.
Yeah,
like,
that's true too.
Like, I would probably limit it to like more...
one game from the last 12 months.
Like 3 recent games, 7 anything
7
you want.
old. Yeah, that's probably a better way to do it, actually. But this could be a plan that actually works out for Microsoft and for Game Pass. Because I do feel like right now, Game Pass is kind of teetering on this precipice where it may like either go away completely.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe like have it be like a...
Like just an indie thing.
You get a certain number of points.
Yeah.
You know, like basically your lineup can have a certain... Like, it's like a fantasy thing. You have a certain number of points. Maybe Forza 6... is like 50 points out of your 100 for the month.
That's not a bad way to do it. Like, recent games are worth 50 points, older games are worth 5 or 10.
5, 10, yeah.
Yeah, that could work. But I would not be surprised, Matt, if in the very near future we get messaging from Microsoft and Xbox that all games are going to follow the Call of Duty model, not just Call of Duty. That all its big first-party games are going to be a year before they show up on Game Pass. I think that's probably coming.
I don't.
No? You think they'll keep...
I think that is very specific to Call of Duty.
Yeah. I just think that internally, there's a lot of people rooting for them to go back to the old way of doing things. Did you see that little all hands that they had at Microsoft? And when she started talking about exclusives, everybody like gave her a standing ovation. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. If they can find a way to thread that legal needle, Call of Duty will be exclusive to their platform.
I believe that too.
When that contract
I mean, I think it's crazy that it's not. They never should have given up that ground in court. They shouldn't
probably
have.
not. But like they had a different strategy in mind, and that made sense at the time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't anymore.
Yeah. So. But I think this plan does make sense. Like a choose your own lineup of stuff. It
is
a lot of work.
finally something that makes the service look attractive,
right,
and affordable.
And to be
that's
fair,
what you need right now.
It will take a lot of work on Microsoft's part to set up that whole system because you have to create all the websites and the apps and all that stuff.
It's got to be seamless, and it's got to be easy, and it's got to have no friction to it.
It's almost got to be like fun, kind of like setting your SIFT ratings. When I set up SIFTD, I was like, our SIFT ratings have to be fun to use.
Like they all have to, like everything has to be attractive, and I mean it has to look as good as the storefront, basically.
And it that's why
it has to
animated
make visual
it.
sense. It has to be very intuitive. I mean, you got to nail this.
You can't make somebody go and look at it and be like, no. They have to go and look at it and be like, oh, I get it. This is fun and cool. Mm-hmm. And that's going to take some work. So
you need algorithms that will like read their library, read what they've been playing, and suggest stuff. I mean, you need the whole.
Yeah. You
need to adapt basically the Xbox store to be this, and make it easy and fun to sort of piece your thing together.
And then you need to message it because they've dropped the price of Game Pass. Have you seen any ads for that? Not even on YouTube.
I mean, I think a lot of that was very internal, like in terms of core game. Mm-hmm. Like most people didn't even know that price went up, probably, except like people who canceled
who are paying.
Yeah. Well, think about how many people have so many streaming services and don't even realize they're still paying for them. That's what Rocket Money's supposed to do, is like basically fix all that for you or whatever.
Yeah.
Even I didn't realize until my credit card got stolen and I replaced it. I got all these emails from these streaming services like, "Hey, we tried to charge your card and it didn't work." I'm just like, I was still subscribing to you? Like, what? No, go away. I didn't want you anymore. What the hell?
So that was actually a blessing in disguise, getting your credit card stolen.
Pretty much.
That's hilarious.
I think I kept two of the services.
Oh, really?
I kept Netflix and Apple.
Yeah.
And
probably a good choice.
Criterion. I kept Criterion because I admit I don't actually watch a lot of Criterion Channel, but I do keep it because I want to support Criterion.
Yeah. That's a good organization to support.
They have all the old Godzilla movies.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. All right, let's check in with you guys really quickly about Game Pass. If you guys have anything to say about it. Fire Native says, 1 year exclusive maybe, which is great because that gives Xbox time to fix the game and add content before I play it on PS5. That's hilarious.
That is true.
Sexual Yacht Club says they could launch on Xbox first, then after a short delay PC, and never on PS5.
I like it at the same day on PC, frankly.
Yeah, me too. Congram1 says, I think the pivot is to save money by paying publishers by the download as opposed to a huge lump sum to have them on Game Pass.
That is probably true.
I think, honestly, if they don't do that, though, they just won't get the games. Mm-hmm. Because it's risky for these. Because if you're the publisher that makes this game that's going to go on Game Pass, you're assuming that if somebody plays it on Game Pass, they're not going to buy the game.
Yeah.
So you have a huge risk of losing tons of revenue. And unless Microsoft can guarantee you at least a base level of revenue, I don't think anybody will sign
but if
on.
the only way you're giving it through Game Pass is through this system and you can track how many people do that and pay them accordingly, then they don't lose anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how much Microsoft and Xbox would be willing to pay that publisher per player that played the game.
Right. I mean, presumably you're just paying them what the revenue would have been for that copy.
Yeah.
Which probably is not much more than $10.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you break it all down.
It's complicated. It's not a simple thing to figure out, but I think that's a good foundation to work on.
But that's also ties in with why everybody applauded exclusives, because Microsoft doesn't have to worry about that math with their own games.
That's true.
And theoretically, that would be the biggest draw, would be Microsoft's games for $10 a month.
Yep. Yeah.
If they ever start putting enough games out to make that attractive again. Because they did it last year, and it's not really happening again.
Yeah. Noxatornitis says, however they launch next gen, they'll pivot 20 times. Here we go again. He's right. You're right. You're right.
Not the last time we're going to talk about Game Pass.
Yeah. Hopefully it's the last time for at least like 4 episodes of GameFace.
Has that ever happened before? I don't think so. Game Pass cannot stay a course to save its life.
You're right.
Quite
it
literally.
Won't stay the same way long enough. Bills Above 13 says, yeah, no way this choice plan includes new releases, likely just catalog. Nixatois says, maybe I'm not hardcore enough, but choosing my own games feels more like work than I want it to put into a program that's supposed to make my life easier. That's a good point. That's why Matt and I said, like, the interface needs to be really
completely
cool
frictionless.
and really fun. Yeah, and really easy. Yeah. We went through this with SIFTD when we set up, like, you guys being able to set up your SIFs and choose which content you wanted in your SIFs. Like, we went through 5 different revisions of that screen where you go to tell us what you want to see. And every time we're like, we need to make it more fun. We need to make it more engaging. We need to make it more visually interesting.
Like it needs to be it needs to be like those meal plan things, where where you order the meals up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you have until this time to pick them. If you don't pick them, we pick them for you based on what your likes and dislikes are. And it's like, well, maybe that's close enough.
Pactor also brought up a good point, which is like that's Netflix in its original version.
Yeah.
Because you would pick the DVDs that you wanted sent to you, and until you sent them back and decided, or in this case, decided you wanted another game instead, they wouldn't give you another one. So yeah, it's kind of the same system as the original Netflix
GameFly.
It kind of is. It's crazy.
Which still exists.
Yeah, it does, which most people don't realize. Threadzilla says, I think they have to keep it on PS5 to recoup that massive investment. He's talking about Call of Duty, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah, for now.
Noxatornitis says, what a mess they've made. Yeah. I mean, really, in the end, that's kind of what it is. Zoidberg79 says, Pactor should join a union. Yeah, I don't think...
Union of one.
Seriously, I don't think he needs that. I think he's all good. All right. There you go. That is the latest on Game Pass. We'll see if it comes to fruition, but I'll just be honest, like most of the stuff that we talk about here on GameFace about Game Pass does come to fruition. It does end up happening. Like stuff that we float or ideas that Pactor comes up with, it seems like it all happens. So we'll see about this one. Next up, we're going to talk more about Trump's tariffs and some of the fallout that's happening now that the Supreme Court has ruled that the tariffs are illegal. Again, something that we said on GameFace for the last 18 months, that the tariffs were illegal, eventually they would be struck down, and that is exactly what happened. The Supreme Court struck them down. Now, he's trying to finagle some other way. Like, he basically was like, okay, well, I'm just going to slap a tariff on everybody, and he did anyway, and there's nobody enforcing anything.
That's kind of the thing. It's like the legal system moves so slowly that you can do a lot of damage in the time between doing the thing and the time they tell you can't do the thing.
Yep. And, I mean, that's what he does. He
breaks
the law.
Enough, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
he breaks the law, and he knows that it's illegal, and eventually it's probably going to be struck down. But he also knows that it takes a long time to go through the process, and he's going to get away with whatever it is.
Yeah, he'll get what he wants in the meantime.
Because he doesn't care if something's illegal or not.
No.
That doesn't even enter his mind in anything he does.
Well, because he doesn't get in trouble for any of it.
Right, because he's immune, and he can do whatever anyway. The bottom line is that the Supreme Court determined that the tariffs are in fact illegal and that the government needs to refund the money back that it collected in tariffs.
Good luck.
Yeah. The problem is that the people who paid the tariffs, it's us.
Right.
We're
the corporations are trying to get the money back, and I'm like, excuse me, we paid all that. Like, you didn't, I mean, you did, but then you passed the cost on to the consumer. We need that money back, not you. Fuck you.
Well, the problem is that the Trump administration is giving the money back to the companies. It is not giving the money back to us.
Just in case you were wondering whose side all of this is on.
Right. So we're not getting the money back. We're not getting those tariff checks.
Yeah, where were those checks?
That he lied
That's
about
where those checks
for
should
months.
come from.
And we're not getting the Doge checks that he lied about for months. None of that stuff is happening. So billions of dollars are being given back to the companies. And so
the companies overcharged us because of the tariffs, and now they're going to get all that money back, and those prices are never going to come down.
So a couple of Nintendo fans were like...
Congratulations, everyone. Good job.
A couple of Nintendo fans were like, no, you don't do that. And they have sued Nintendo with a class action lawsuit to get the money back from the tariffs. Now, here's the thing. I'm guessing they went after Nintendo because they're Nintendo fans and they bought a Switch too.
Probably. But Nintendo is not one of the key offenders here.
No.
It's a very silly... I mean, I support the effort, the concept.
Right.
But Nintendo wouldn't even be in my top 100
of companies to go after
for this.
Because we've only really lost like $10 on the Switch 2 to tariffs.
It's not... I mean, I know they're trying to establish some kind of precedent.
Right.
But also, it's an international company. It's just... There are better ways to do this.
Well, go after the PlayStation 5 because the PlayStation 5 has gone up $150.
There's really been a lot of discrepancy there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go after a company, go after PlayStation. They're the ones who have really gouged consumers over the tariffs more than any company. Microsoft, I mean, Xbox has gone up not quite as much as PlayStation 5.
Also, Sony's way more likely to panic and screw it up.
Oh, absolutely.
Nintendo is airtight. Legally, for the most part.
Yep. So they have sued Nintendo with a class action lawsuit on behalf of all of us because, they've sold 20 million Switch 2s at this point. If you add it all up, $10 per unit, that's a lot of freaking money.
It is. It's a big refund if they get it.
And here's the thing. So Pactor is also
I'd rather sue the grocery distributors. But,
right. Pactor has also already answered this question on a Pactor Factor Live. And sadly... there's a technicality that's going to keep this from happening. Like, he thinks that the case is never even going to go to court. It's going to be thrown out.
Probably not.
Because, basically, technically, we did not pay the tariffs. Unless you have a receipt that shows a separate carve-out for the tariff amount, you were not the one who technically paid the tariff. It was Nintendo. And even though they jacked up the price, and they even said publicly, Nintendo said publicly that our prices are going up because of this climate, and I don't know if they said tariff specifically.
I don't think they ever did.
I think they said this economic climate or whatever.
They were very...
because they're afraid.
Weasel-wordy.
Well, they're afraid. They're afraid Trump's going to attack them because that's what happens. If you say anything about him, he will ruin your business. So they're afraid to say anything. So that actually helped Nintendo in the long run because now, legally and technically, Nintendo is not on the hook to refund that tariff. Because when you bought a Switch 2, there was not a line item on your receipt that said $10 tariff.
Yeah, there are some things I've bought that do that.
And those companies that did
I am
that,
remembering it.
You should.
Me.
Keep your receipts, people. If you have bought anything in the last 18 months or whatever that had a line item on the receipt that said it was because of a tariff, you are legally allowed to get that money back.
A lot of shipping stuff does that, so keep track of that.
Yep, but like PlayStation didn't do it. It never said specifically.
I can't think of an actual like retail corporation that had any kind of tariff admission in their pricing.
Yep.
No.
Because I'm sure
the tariff line items I've had have been import stuff and like shipping things and crowd-funded stuff. They all have specific tariff charges because they're afraid to like alienate backers by saying that the shipping costs this much. So they always say this much is for shipping and this much is for tariffs, which means that theoretically you want to bring a lawsuit against someone, bring it against GameFound or Kickstarter, because those places do line item the tariffs a lot.
And that's the only way you're going to get your money back. That's it.
Those are the only places you will get your money back.
Because you don't realize it, but that receipt that you get when you buy something is a legally binding contract between you and the company that made the product.
It is what you have agreed to in the purchase.
It is your agreement. And I never even occurred to me.
It binds them, too. That's what we usually use receipts for more often.
Right.
But
what you're seeing, though, to your point, Matt, talking about some of these small fry guys, like carving that out, the reason that Nintendo didn't do it and PlayStation didn't do it is because they're big and they have law teams.
Yeah.
They have a team of lawyers telling them, like, don't do that, because if you do that, we're going to owe that money back if the tariffs are deemed illegal.
Meanwhile, Big Bad Toy Store has charged me $1.99 in tariff surcharges for almost everything I bought from them for the last year and a half. And if I wanted to, I could probably go back and be like, I demand all that. I demand that like $30 back. But I'm not going to do that because it's not worth my fucking time.
Well, it starts to get funky, too, if you start dealing with companies that are overseas that don't adhere to U.S. law. And it just starts to get messy. And so chances are no one's going to get any money back from these tariffs on anything that they bought with the tariffs, and the companies are not going to lower the prices back down. Like, you're not going to see PlayStation be like, oh, shucks, we increased the price 2 days.
Here's a free game for all those tariffs you pay. No, that's admission. You can't do that.
Well, the crazy part about it is PlayStation increased, its latest price increase happened 2 days before the Supreme Court deemed the tariffs illegal.
And honestly, they could just turn around and be like, oh, we raised the prices because of the increased hardware costs.
Right, the RAM shortage or whatever. They can find some other lame-brain excuse for it. Bottom line is none of us are getting any of this tariff money back for anything that we bought. Nope. Matt, you may be able to fight the fight with a couple small guys, and just because you're a good customer, they may help you out. But for the most part, if you bought a piece of expensive electronics or anything that was really expensive that cost an extra $50, $100, $200, you're not getting that money back. You're just not. I mean, the only chance that we have is PR. Is if one of these companies doesn't want its name dragged through the mud, like if the class action lawsuit doesn't give up, even though they know they're going to lose, and they start putting out press releases about it, and maybe then Nintendo's like, to not have mud on our face, it's worth refunding this but probably not.
No, I think they'd all rather have the money.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Than have a couple people a little bit pissed off. And again, like it's wrong that Nintendo's being singled out for this, because it really did try to do its best to not increase prices. PlayStation was like, I don't care. Like, we're the market leader and we're going to charge whatever we want. So if you're going to be angry about a company over not refunding the tariffs, it should be PlayStation over Nintendo. But honestly, feel free to be angry
again, this is completely the wrong industry to be having that fight in.
Yep.
Like it wasn't hit by the tariffs that hard.
Yeah.
Like you want to talk about the necessities of life in terms of this issue more than like luxury items.
The grocery bills and all that kind of stuff.
Gas prices, the whole that kind of thing.
Coffee, all that kind of stuff. Anything that we import. Yep.
Which is most stuff. You can't grow a lot of bananas in the continental U.S.
You can't grow any. Yep. Goonie Gune, PlayStation, or a lot of the tariff charges. It's in their quarterly reports. Oh. If they have it in writing somewhere...
Yeah, they put that in the quarterly reports. That could be some kind of leverage.
Now, I did ask Pactor. I'm like, so if Nintendo said, like, in a press release or in a communication to a publication, like, yeah, these prices are influenced by the tariffs, does that work? And he's like, nope. All that matters is that contract that you sign when you buy it. Whatever is on that receipt is all that matters. So that's what he said anyway. And he definitely knows this better than I do. So I'm going to defer to him in cases like this. Sexual Yacht Club. I mean, unfortunately, the consumer is not paying tariffs directly, so the consumer has to make the decision whether the product is worth it at an increased price. That's what they're saying, basically. Mm-hmm. It's like you made the decision on whether to buy that or not, and you said yes. And
which is, again, why I say that the avenue for something like this is through necessities, not luxury goods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody forced you to buy that Switch 2.
Yeah.
But maybe you did have to buy that banana.
Yeah. Fire Native also reminds us that even if it does go to court, the lawyers make millions and billions, and the people will get $8 each. They'll probably get like $2. Mm-hmm. You won't get the whole $10 back because you're right. The lawyers will take their cut. You'll end up with like $2 or $3 out of that 10. And then is it even worth it to like go to a website and sign up? And it's not. No. It's just not. So that's what's going on with the tariffs. We got good news, but the end result was not what we expected. Like, I guess we were kind of hoping that at least the prices would freeze, and I think that's probably going to happen now. No. Like, I don't think there's going to be more price increases. Yeah? You think so?
Who's going to stop
It would be hard to rationalize it.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who's going to stop them?
That's true. If you're the market leader like PlayStation, like, what are you going to do?
It's still inflation, still going.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to keep raising prices. Sorry.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Not fucking buy anything?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, that may happen.
Well,
if you're telling people to buy food or a PlayStation 5, they're going to buy the food. All right. Let's move on. This is an episode with 2 topics about Assassin's Creed in it. I thought about combining the 2. I could not find a way for us to naturally transition from one to the other. So it is its own topic. We're going to talk about the next mainline Assassin's Creed, which is supposed to come out next year, and it is Assassin's Creed Hexe. Now, I have to say, I have not been this excited for an Assassin's Creed game, and I don't know how long. When they originally pitched this idea, it was supposed to be basically set during the witch trials in the 16th century, have all kinds of crazy witchcraft and stuff in it, and I was like, man, I am down. Like, this sounds like a big departure from Assassin's Creed, but it will still have enough of tenets in it that I'll still have that connective tissue that'll still make me be interested in it and enjoy it. But at the same time, witchcraft, something that's never been in an Assassin's Creed before. Here's the thing, Matt. Now we're starting to get reports that Ubisoft is starting to get cold feet, and that it thinks the concept for Hexe is too far out of the normal realm of an Assassin's Creed game, and they fear that people won't be interested in it. And so Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson, first of all, is saying that the game is coming out in June 2027, but he also said that that he's the one who broke this news, that internally people at Ubisoft are starting to question whether a concept as out of bounds as Hexe is a good idea for the Assassin's Creed franchise. A couple things to keep in mind before we go deeper into this discussion is that this game lost its game director and its creative director in the last 2 months. So the team has basically been gutted of its executive management, basically. So it's pretty much the rank and file folks at this point who are working on the game. And Ubisoft is insisting that this isn't a big deal. Like, we knew this was coming, blah, blah, blah. Don't be off-put by this or whatever. But I am off-put by this because Tom Henderson is reporting that basically they're going to remove all the witchcraft from the game because they didn't feel that it was grounded enough. They said that their goal is to make the game, quote-unquote, more grounded. So Jean Goodson, who began overseeing the Assassin's Creed franchise earlier this year, he's decided to remove a cat companion from the game. So, witches always have a cat or whatever. You were going to have a cat companion throughout the game. He decided to remove it because it's too, stereotypical witchy or whatever.
Lame.
He also is removing the witchcraft, the supernatural part of it, and instead it's going to be all, elixirs and herbs. And his point was, even back then when they were burning women at the stake, they were just stupid and they thought it was witchcraft, but it really wasn't witchcraft.
But there's real magic in Assassin's Creed. It's called this future tech of the first civilization.
Yes.
I figured that's what this whole thing was. What they were using these relics of the first civilization to do what would have been perceived as magic then, but we would know that they are using this super tech to do it. That's the whole point. Also, it's a simulation. Did you forget that it's
fake.
a simulation?
It's not real. What the hell?
You can do whatever you want. I fought a giant snake god in Assassin's Creed Origins, and nobody had a problem with that.
Yeah.
The entire Norse pantheon showed up in Valhalla.
Yeah. The game will take a more grounded approach to witchcraft.
You fight an Oni in the DLC for this. Like, what are you fucking complaining about?
I know, it's insane. It makes no sense at all. Yep. It will take a more grounded approach to witchcraft with the game's protagonist understanding the science of chemicals, etc. For instance...
Well, you certainly just made that boring.
Yeah. For instance, she knows how to make a smoke bomb, which to ordinary citizens makes it look like she can disappear.
Okay.
So basically he's saying...
But we already did that in, like, all the other games. So what's the difference?
Yeah, I don't get it. To me, that was what made this game so enticing. And they're taking it away and just making it a generic Assassin's Creed game set in the 16th century.
Like, you know, it's you're gonna have like some witchcraft stuff, you know, some weird. You're gonna use the apples of Eden stuff differently than you've ever seen before.
And maybe we finally learn something else about it.
Maybe a little bit more to that. You're gonna like have a little bit of a horror element, which they've never really had in these games before. Like, it's something to catch your attention after like game 14 or 15.
Seriously,
right?
I don't understand the logic behind this. It makes no sense at all.
They're just chickening out.
They are, but why?
I don't know.
After they were brave with Assassin's Creed Shadows, after all the heat they got over having a black samurai and a female ninja, they were like, you know what? F you. We're going to stick to our creative vision. And it worked. The game sold great. It reviewed great. I loved it. You loved it. It was fine. And now they're going to... It's not like that audience that was all over Assassin's Creed Shadows cares about witchcraft. It's not like those people are like, why you got witchcraft in your game and a cat? Like, they don't care.
I mean, at this point, who fucking
knows, actually. They may.
But you know what? Ubisoft could probably use a national scandal for
to drum up some...
at this point.
Yeah. But this... So here's the thing. This story's kind of been flown under the radar. Like, a lot of people haven't picked up on it yet. My guess is, like, people won't care until we're into next year and Hexe is, like, close. Then they'll be like, wait a minute. You told me it was supposed to be this and it's not that, and now I'm mad. Like...
Well, there's not zero chance this game never comes out.
Yeah.
Where is any of the other stuff?
Well, there's what, like 5 games in development right now or
Jade?
something?
Did Infinity kind of happen? Like that was sort
not
of
really.
Sort of the front end of Shadows in a way.
I mean,
maybe?
What they said it's going to be, it's not yet.
No.
So no, I would say that hasn't happened. In fact, but it just completely threw a wet blanket on my hype for this.
How long ago did they announce this? How long?
Hexe?
When was Hexe announced?
Unfortunately, I can't check clip dates on the TriCaster here to see. I can't get that information, unfortunately. It's been a while. And the original quote that they put out when they announced Hexe was, expect a unique, darker, narrative-driven Assassin's Creed experience set during a pivotal moment in history. And now what we're going to get, basically, is a typical Assassin's Creed game set in 16th century Europe. I mean, that feels like we played that already? I don't know. I don't know what Ubisoft is doing. It feels like the management there has just completely crapped the bed. And it has no idea what it's doing anymore. And this is after, don't forget, Matt, they completely restructured and set up that whole, like, society around Assassin's Creed now, where they have, like, all these people that just work on Assassin's Creed and, like, 3 other franchises. So they have, like, 4 game silos, basically, that they have their teams working on, where each team is representing 4 different franchises at a time, instead of the whole portfolio at Ubisoft. So, I don't know what's going on over there, Matt. When was the last time you could...
September 10th, 2022.
So it's been almost 4 years since they announced Hexe, along with all those other things that they announced at the same time there.
Mirage, Code Red, which was Shadows, and Hexe.
Yeah.
And then they also talked about Infinity, the front end of Infinity.
Yeah. So, when was the last time you can remember Ubisoft making a good decision, Matt? Shadows. Continuing ahead with Shadows was a good idea. Was a smart idea and the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But otherwise...
I like that they did a remaster of Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah. I mean, they did it for Black Flag, so maybe that's another one.
Black Flag's a good decision.
Yeah.
But again, Black Flag was a big departure from, I mean, obviously they pioneered the ship thing a little bit in 3.
Yeah.
But then they just made a whole game out of it, which, like, that was a risk at the time.
Yeah. Then there's Skull and Bones.
Yeah, and then they took the wrong lesson from that, too.
And then just the way they're running their business, just all of it. The games that they've canceled, haven't canceled, what they're doing to Far Cry.
And you don't really know, like For Honor is still going.
Right.
Like, you didn't learn anything from that either. It's like...
No.
Like, why didn't... I don't know. Like, it feels like you could do something with that. It feels like you could maybe integrate that combat system into something.
Yeah.
They haven't.
It sounds like Assassin's Creed, the next mainline Assassin's Creed, is just going to be very generic and not as groundbreaking as we had hoped. And that's, to me, that's what this franchise needs right now, is something groundbreaking and different. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I mean, it's good to see that people eventually bought Shadows and they all enjoyed it. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
Because that could have killed the franchise if people actually listened to the people out on the internet. They didn't. They just because they don't
listen to the internet.
Yeah, they really don't. So anyway, if you're excited for Hexe, like I am,
also don't listen to whoever's making this decision either. I don't know why you would want to do. Who cares about ground?
He's the new head of Assassin's Creed.
Well, I'm not thrilled by that.
Jean Gustin.
Who the fuck are you?
Jean Gustin. I don't know.
I'm
no fan of Jean
Assassin's
Gustin.
Creed's never been ground. The whole point is it's
fantastical. That's why people like it. Like, I don't know. It feels like
got better as they more embraced that idea. It's
I
like,
agree.
yeah, you can go fight fucking Osiris or something. Like anyone can show. The sea monster showed up in Odyssey. Like that's the fun part.
Why would they make the witchy Assassin's
How many
Creed
times I fought
the one
that
that's supposed to be grounded in reality?
You know how many times I fought that stupid Minotaur in
Right,
that game? Like,
right.
what are you talking about?
It's crazy. Yep. Noxator Knight says, yeah, don't listen to the guy who's been doing AC for the whole time. I mean, he's right. Like, this guy has been working on Assassin's Creed, like, since Patrice left, basically. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I guess you would assume he knows better than we do what they should do with the franchise, or does he?
Or he's been too close to it for too long.
Yeah.
Doesn't actually know what he's
and he's kind of lost
anymore.
in the soup. That could be, too. Yeah, I mean, that is something that happens when you work on something for a long time. And I struggle with that on SIFTD. Like, I've been doing it.
An Assassin's Creed that leans into like weird occult stuff and it has like a horror bent and like doesn't feel or look like anything else that they've done in that series in the last like 10 years is something that get attention.
It feels like a no-brainer to me. So it looks like we're not getting it though. But here's the thing: like if enough fans start freaking out, maybe you can get some subtle changes. I don't know.
Also, like I mean. Maybe not. There is a possibility that like the cat was a little too cute, like that idea was a little too pat.
Yeah.
But there's a way to do that. Makes it a little creepier. Makes
like,
it weird.
I wanted the whole fantasy, man. I wanted a broom that I'm riding on around the open world.
You were never gonna get that.
No.
No.
I mean that's a little too cliche, but
yeah, that's not a thing from that era.
But I'm okay. Like. I mean, well, then witchcraft is not a thing. Witchcraft isn't real.
Right, but that perception of witchcraft wasn't that.
I know, yeah. I mean, in the 16th century, they didn't think witches were flying on brooms.
You're not going to be bewitched here. It's going to be
I'm just saying, I wouldn't have cared if they gave me a broom to fly on at all. Like, I'd have been like, all right, like, that's fun, that's cool. Give me a little Harry Potter action or whatever.
Well, you got to keep it a little historical, but that's the fun part is, like, finding a way to recreate the things people thought witchcraft was then, but making it kind of quote-unquote real by using the pieces of Eden and stuff to explain.
Instead of just using a smoke bomb.
Yeah. Like, actually, make it like people are freaked out by actual fantastical because that's the fun part of Assassin's Creed is explaining historical events as being part of this crazy conspiracy, almost Atlantis thing.
Yep.
And like, I mean, to the point that in Odyssey, you go to Atlantis.
Yeah.
She lives forever because, like, what are you fucking talking about?
It's insane, dude. I have no clue what they're doing. It makes no sense at all. So, to your point, yeah, he's been working on Assassin's Creed all this time. Sometimes that's not good. Sometimes you need fresh eyes on something, and they'll see things from a different perspective. Mm-hmm. I was saying earlier...
The guy who ruined the controls in 3 had worked on it from the beginning, too.
Right.
Who gives a shit?
That's true. That's a good point. So anyway, that's the latest update on the next mainline Assassin's Creed. It's called, as of right now, it's still called Assassin's Creed Hexe. It looks like it's still going to be...
That's going to change, though. That's
a code name or whatever.
It's always been a code name.
Yeah. Yeah, because they did change, ultimately, Shadows. They changed the name for that.
It's going to be like Assassin's Creed Tituba or some shit.
Yeah. But the bottom line is it looks like they're toning it down, and they're making it more like a normal Assassin's Creed. For some of you may appreciate that. For somebody like me who's been playing since the first one, I'm ready for something
What does
new.
a normal Assassin's Creed even mean at this point?
I think it's just more grounded in history versus the supernatural, I would say.
They haven't been that for,
I know.
honestly, since the Ezio games.
Yeah.
That's the last time they didn't put any real crazy stuff in.
No, you're right. Yeah. The funny part is, like, as they've gone away from, like, the present-day story and the Eden stuff, the core game has gotten crazier.
Yeah.
And more fantastical.
Incorporate more mythology and more like fable stuff.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Which has been fine.
Yeah.
Like good. I mean, you've got magic artifacts. You've got, it's a weird 2012 end of the world sort of, remember when that was the whole thing?
Yeah.
That conspiracy theory that didn't actually mean anything.
Yep. Well, anyway, there you go. That's Assassin's Creed Hexe. Supposed to come out middle of next year. Again, Tom Henderson saying like June of 2027.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like kind of a Mirage style release.
It does kind of feel that way. Kind of a little bit of a throwback type deal instead of a big open world hulking game that you may or may not ever finish. But anyway, there you go. That's the latest on the next mainline Assassin's Creed. Next up, we're going to talk very quickly about a story that is making the rounds about what's going on in Insomniac with all the Spider-Man stuff. So we just talked, was it last week or the week before, about Spider-Man 3? That was 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
About rumors that that's the next game coming from Insomniac, and Matt and I talked about this Venom game, that if there was this big leak from Insomniac where they got into their archives, and according to the leak, the next game was supposed to be this Venom game. And it doesn't look like that's happening. Now they're talking about Spider-Man 3 all of a sudden.
I mean, Venom was supposed to be before Wolverine. It was supposed to be last year.
Right. And the actor who plays... what's his name? Oh, what's his name again?
Tony Todd?
No,
Venom?
the actor that plays...
Venom.
No, Spider-Man.
Oh, Peter Parker?
No, what's the black kid's name?
Miles Morales.
Miles Morales, yeah. The guy who plays Miles Morales in the games did an interview this week, and he went on this crazy tirade about how there was supposed to be a Venom game. I played the Venom game. They showed me the Venom game. They talked to me about the Venom game. And the Venom game is now not happening, he says, because of Tony Todd's death. And he is the voice actor that played Venom from the beginning, I guess he was.
Yeah, they announced that with that first teaser that he was the voice of Venom.
Yeah.
He was a great choice for the voice of Venom, but they cut almost everything he recorded for. Venom barely talks in that game.
Really?
Yeah. Because he's not the voice of the people under Venom. He's just the voice of Venom himself, the symbiote, when it's in Venom form, and that Venom doesn't talk much. He's only got a handful of lines. So other than roar, roar, I'll kill you, sort of. I mean, in terms of actual scenes, Venom's got 2 scenes.
Yeah. So you agree with me? You do not think the game was canceled because of the voice actor?
I mean, it might have been, but out of some kind of respect. But that seems like a big choice to make for someone who, wasn't really integral to It's not like recasting Venom was gonna cause some kind of scandal. Yeah, he died. And it sucks. Tony Todd is awesome. He's a great choice for Venom. When they announced that, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be amazing. And then it wasn't, because they didn't fucking do anything with it. And Tony Todd barely got... I kept forgetting it was Tony Todd because he didn't get to talk. That movie... Craven had 10 times the lines of Venom. I don't want to relitigate the Spider-Man 2 problems, but that was one of my problems. Was Venom was barely a character. How do you make a game out of that?
Yeah. Obviously he's playable in the game, and his section of the game was fun at first, but it wasn't much nuance to it. It kind of lost its luster pretty quickly, which made me, and I knew at the time, the next game is supposed to be a Venom game, and I was thinking to myself at the time, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, I would imagine that might be one of the contributing factors that Tony Todd died, but some of it's got to be that there wasn't a whole lot of interest in a Venom game, and I don't think there should have been a Venom game.
Well, the movie tanked. I mean, that's your first sign, right?
The first movie made $1 billion. That's why they were going to make the Venom
That's
game.
why they were going all in.
But the sequels did not.
Yeah, they did bad.
The second one did fine. The second one did almost $1 billion. But
it did? Wow.
But that was largely because it was one of the first movies out. It was in the wake of the end of the lockdowns. The third movie did not do well.
And that's the most recent one.
That was the most recent one.
Assuming you're going to build on that momentum
but
to
also
release the game.
It was part of the kind of it was part of that sort of period where people stopped seeing mediocre superhero stuff, and which largely was spearheaded by how terrible Sony's Spider-Man films are. Between that and Morbius and Craven and Madam Web, that was pretty much the end of the non-mainstream Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep trying because they got to keep that license forever. But for now, they had to go back to the drawing board. And trying to get a Venom, and also, I think people weren't too impressed by Venom in that game.
Yeah, I wasn't either. It was
boring.
It was it felt like a Hulk game.
I think they were more recognizing that wasn't really a demand for a Venom game.
Yeah, I think so too. I think between the last movie not doing well, between the feedback from fans based upon the sections of the game that he was in already in Marvel Spider-Man 2, I don't think there were any signs pointing to Insomniac to tell Insomniac that this is a good idea and a good project, or PlayStation for that matter. I do wonder how far they got into making that game.
I don't know.
Do you believe that he really saw it and played it? I do.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they had prototypes in
Yeah.
early versions.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think he's lying.
I mean, he had that early version of Wolverine, which was basically based on the Spider-Man animation
Najee
system.
Jeter is the guy's name. I don't think he's lying. I think he's telling
Why
the
would he?
truth. He
Like
just
the-
doesn't understand the industry, and
Well, I'm sure that might have been what they told people, like
Yeah.
internally. Like, it's like, yeah, we just think we're going to, out of respect for Tony Todd, we're just not going to do it. And, like,
Yeah.
that's a fine excuse.
That's an easy way to get out of it.
Easy way to get out without having to explain like a bunch of business choices
Right.
and things like that. You don't, the cast doesn't necessarily need to know
Yeah.
otherwise, and it probably makes you feel okay as a cast member. It's like, oh, they value the actors.
The cast,
kind of thing.
the actors. Yeah, I could see that too.
I'm sure it's part of it, but I cannot imagine that's the whole story. But who cares? I mean, they never even announced it. You don't even need to explain why that game isn't coming out because you never publicly talked.
Only
about
people like us knew it ever existed. Like literally, and half of our people probably don't even know that it ever existed. If you didn't follow the story about that leak, you would never know.
No. And again, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I'm a big Marvel fan. I was a big Venom fan before they turned
Ruined
the
it.
character into dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Until they turned him into like a weird monster thing like that. I mean, he was a weird monster, but he's a weird monster because of basically a jilted lover. He's not a weird monster because symbiotes are bad. That's what kind of became it was like. He was a really cool one-off villain that kind of came back a couple times and then was so popular that Marvel decided to make everything Venom, and that's how you ruin anything, is like removing its mystique. And I didn't actually particularly enjoy the last time we got a Venom game, which was the Ultimate Spider-Man game on Xbox, where you could play as Venom or Spider-Man. And I thought I think the symbiote stuff in 2 is not very good. Like I don't like playing as the symbiote version of Spider-Man in Web of Shadows either. I just don't think the symbiote is a very interesting gameplay option.
I agree. Yep, I'm right there with you.
I'd rather be, I don't want to shock you, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Seriously. So instead, that's what we're getting. We're going to get Wolverine next year, then we're getting Marvel Spider-Man 3.
Wolverine this year.
I'm sorry, this year. And then Marvel Spider-Man 3
wait another year for Wolverine.
in 2 years, right? 2028, I think they said.
Yeah, 2028 Spider-Man 2, and then 2030, theoretically, X-Men.
Yeah.
According to that leak.
We'll see. But I'm not going to shed any tears over losing the Venom game.
No, we don't need to. I mean, it didn't get us anything else any sooner.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't need a Venom game.
Yeah. Probably a good idea when they first started pitching it, but
I understand
times change.
Yeah, I understand why it was on the scale. Like the pitch was there. It made sense given the time period that would have been proposed.
Yeah.
But I think it was probably the right choice to not.
What I got in Marvel
Double
Spider-Man
down on
2 was enough.
Plenty.
I'm good.
More than enough.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Next up, our first review of GameFace 478. I told you that this episode was not full of reviews. It was mostly just topics. And this is going to be a very short review. We're going to talk about Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream. So we talked about this. I played the demo of the game. And I think the demo's still up there. You can go play it too if you want. And we talked about it on GameFace. We did a preview on GameFace. And I think when I finished the preview, I was like, I'm not even sure we'll review this because there's not that much more to it other than this. And I was right. Like, there's really not that much more to it. My main sort of criticism of the demo when we previewed the game was basically that it just makes the player do a lot of work. So I got the retail version because this game is driven by Miis. And if you don't have Miis on your system, every couple days you have to create one yourself. Like, throughout the story in the game, it will naturally say, hey, there's a new Mii that wants to live on your island or whatever. And you have to create that Mii. And Matt, I don't know why they don't even have like a random Mii generator. You can start with like people who are already on your island as a template and tweak that if you want to, but you have to create every Mii that is added to the island. So once I realized that, I was like, all right, I'm going to seriously look into how I can get my old Miis from my Wii days onto the Switch 2. And Matt, it is the craziest, most convoluted thing you've ever seen. Basically, you have to start on your 3DS, transfer them, or you transfer from the Wii Remote to the 3DS, from the 3DS to a Wii U, and from the Wii U, you can get it to the first Switch, which then will transfer over to Switch 2.
Wow. There are a finite number of people who even have the objects required to do that.
It's bonkers. And so I realized that. I'm like, well, that's not going to work.
I guess I should do that.
And then I have so many.
Like hundreds of me's
and they're all celebrities or superheroes or whatever.
A bunch of them were made by Kevin Pereira. That's got to be worth something, right?
I don't know about that, but but that is the process to get your old Mii's onto Switch 2. So I was like, that's not happening. And then I'm wondering, I'm like, why isn't there, okay, a randomizer would be great, but why isn't there just a poll? Why can't I, as a player of this game, create a Mii, upload it, Nintendo has a moderator that looks at it, make sure it's not a gigantic penis or whatever.
That's why.
Right.
Because you got to pay somebody.
You have to have someone moderate it. But man, it would make this game so much more enjoyable than it is. Like, the game is cool. So basically all it is it's a fish tank with Mii's. Like, you check in every day, and you go there, and they're like, hey,
Seaman ahead of its time, as always.
Yeah. They're like, your Mii's hungry, so you go to the store and you buy it food, and then you feed it to it. It's like, hey, your Mii wants to meet new people, so you pick up your Mii and you drop it at the house with the other Mii, and then they talk and have like a little conversation. You figure out as you give them food what they like or they don't like, and so eventually you're only giving them the food that they like, and when you do that, they level up and you level up, and that's how the game will then prompt you to say, hey, a new Mii wants to come to your island, and so you create the Mii, they add the Mii to the island. And I will say this, the more you keep adding to the game, the better it gets. And when I say better, I mean the more entertaining it gets, because there's really no gameplay to this at all. There's no mini games to play, there's no activities to do. It literally is just giving your Mii stuff and then putting them next to each other so they interact with each other. And that's basically it. I mean, that's the entirety of the game. And so if you don't have a lot of Mii's, it just doesn't have the spark, because while you're coming here.
Soapshinik says there is a random Mii maker.
Where? How far did I play? I don't know. I played like how many days? Like 6 days, I think, probably. But it's like, how far did you play? Like, it's not time, because it's not like this isn't a game that you boot up and then you play it for 5 hours and you get hungry and you eat dinner, or you get tired and you go to sleep. Like, this is a game where you boot it up, you check on it for like 20 or 30 minutes, and then you put it away. And then you come back the next day, and you check out what's happening, and you hope that your Mii's have started mingling, and maybe there's a little cutscene that plays out that shows a funny interaction between them or whatever. That's what this game is. So I really have no idea how many hours or anything I've spent on it, but I have not played it enough to where I got to a place where they will randomly generate Mii's. So I guess I have not gotten that far. He also says there are mini games. Bowling, quizzes, shadow puzzles. I did not get to any of that. I never saw any of it. So for me, the first 6 days that I played it, I basically have 6 Mii's on my island now that are just interacting with each other and eating stuff. So that's where I've got to. So it's good to hear that actually there is that stuff in there. I played it for 6 days, and I would check in on it every day, just like I would like a fish tank or an ant farm or whatever, and that's my experience with it. So I'm not saying I don't like the game or I don't recommend it. I think you just need to know what you're getting into before you decide to get it. And again, it's just kind of like a daily little check-in thing that you fiddle around with and mess around with. Stuff happens. Funny stuff happens. Legitimately funny stuff happens. And they also kind of nudge you. Like, they'll tell you, like, here's a certain thing that you can do that will make your Mii interact with this other Mii in a specific way. And so you can kind of, like, it's not like you're a hands-off god in this. You can nudge things in certain directions. You can pair up certain Mii's that have different personality types, and those tend to be the interactions that are the most off the wall and interesting and funny. But otherwise, this isn't like a game. This is like a little app that you fiddle around with, and you don't like sit down and play this for like 15 hours. I wouldn't say I recommend this or I don't recommend it. I just think you need to know what it is before you decide to get into it. And I think most people, based upon what I just told them, will know whether it's a game for them or not. I think, there's certain people that like goals and things to accomplish, and there's other people that like more freeform types of games, and this is more of a freeform type of game than some rigid thing where you go from A to B to C to D, and then F happens, and then you go through this whole other process again. There's no boss fights. It just is not designed like a typical video game. And for some people, I think they may like that. That's Tomodachi Life, living the dream. Will I keep checking in? Maybe. Fire Native says, most games are not my kind of game, but everything doesn't have to be for me. That is the absolute right approach to take. Different strokes for different folks. And this game, honestly, isn't really for me either. I chuckled at it a couple times. There was some kind of funny situations that it presented, but I can appreciate that there are some people who absolutely love this. I would argue probably younger kids, like Nick Satoi's kids. I can totally see where a kid would love this because it's just like goofy, funny, fun stuff that happens. And I would argue that a lot of the humor is targeted towards younger players, etc. So I could see where a younger audience would be into it. But for me, I just was in this loop of like, go to the store, buy a bunch of stuff, go to your Mii's, give it to them, figure out whether they like it or not. Because you can see on the left there, that menu, like as you start feeding your Mii stuff, like that love section, like if you feed it like orange juice or whatever, it'll tell you if like they like orange juice or they hate it or whatever, so you know whether to feed it to them going forward. And that's pretty much the crux of what I have experienced so far, is just doing that over and over, trying to figure out what they like and then giving it to them so they level up more quickly, because leveling up is what ultimately will bring more people onto your island. And then there's the whole Animal Crossing part of it where you're putting furniture and stuff in your house. Again, that's another element of video games that some people really love, other people don't care about. I personally don't care that much. Like, my Animal Crossing house usually is just got stuff in it that has to be there to accomplish a mission. Like, I don't go in and decorate it and set it all up. I'm like, I need to put that couch in there. There it is. And if I can fit everything in there, that's pretty much all I care about. So games like this don't resonate with me particularly, but for a lot of people they do. And so I would probably compare this most closely to Animal Crossing. Definitely more than Pokemon Pocopia. But when
it seems like Seaman to me. Like, it's just that sort of like...
Well, Seaman doesn't have any building elements in it, or...
No.
Well, I guess you did put stuff in the tank.
Put stuff in the tank, but it's like, it's sort of the appeal is like sort of the voice.
Yeah.
Like the fact you're interacting with this
with the
thing.
characters, yeah. And that's what this is too, for sure. But anyway, there you go. That's Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream. For Switch, but it also plays on Switch too. All right, next up, we have another review. We're going to review Vampire Crawlers, which is a spin-off of Vampire Saviors. And Matt, I've never played Vampire Saviors. Full disclosure,
No?
I never played it. I don't know why. I looked at it and it just never appealed to me for whatever reason.
It's because you haven't played it.
Yeah, it just looked so basic that it almost looked like an Atari 2600 game to me. Like,
No.
yeah,
No.
I know people love it.
It's one of the best things I've ever played.
Yeah, I know a lot of people really love it, and I've never given it a chance. But I did spend, 30 minutes playing this. Mm-hmm. And this is basically a dungeon crawler. And that's pretty much all I can say about it.
With all the same sprites and all the same characters. It's
from
Vampire
Survivors. Yeah. And I'm sure that creates for fans of Vampire Survivors, that's some connective tissue.
It gives you a little bit of a leg up because you know what the combos to make the stronger weapons are. And so a lot of the same gameplay mechanics are there.
Yeah, so this is like a turn-based RPG where you play cards.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is a deck builder.
Yeah.
Once again.
And again, I only played it for like 30 minutes. I don't feel like I fully wrapped my head around it, but it felt like what mattered was the order that you play the cards in.
You get a combo if you play lowest to highest in terms of mana cost, yes. That's what that is. Combo stack. Ascending mana cost for a combo multiplier.
Okay.
Difference between the axe doing 80 damage and 420 damage.
Because I'll just be honest with you, the way I was playing it was like I was looking at like what the cards were and thinking logically
like right there, that does 80 damage now instead of 40 because you played it second.
I see. I did not pick up on that at all. Like I thought
that is literally the core of the game.
Yeah, but I was whooping butt playing it the way I was playing it, which was just using logic. So I would look at like a knife and like a spell, and I would be like, okay, I probably need to use the spell first to like debuff the enemy and then follow it up with my weapon. And that's how I was playing it. Like I was always casting a spell or like a buff or a debuff first.
You're not going to get too far past the first level doing that.
Like I said, I played for 30 minutes and that was pretty much it. But it worked for 30 minutes. I was just crushing it. Like every battle, I never would even lose any health. Like, so it was working for that point in time, but I'm guessing as the game wears on, it doesn't work anymore. But that's kind of how the game works. Like they deal out some cards, and then you decide what order to play the cards. That's the basic gist of it.
Yeah, I mean that's a card game. I mean, you obviously start with just very basic, but you unlock, just like Survivors. It's a roguelike. You're making runs through these various dungeons, and as you do certain things, you unlock new either new cards or new versions of them or new weapons or new upgrade gems. So whenever you level up, you get to choose a new card, usually, but sometimes you can choose an upgrade. Sometimes you'll find the upgrades in treasure chests or whatever, or from enemies. And you'll see, not in this section, but there'll be cards. You have a little empty circle in the upper left corner under the mana cost, and you can hammer in a crystal upgrade in there, and sometimes it's double the damage. Sometimes it counts as a combo no matter what it's played after.
I got that far, actually,
that
believe
kind
it
of
or not.
stuff. So you can customize your deck that way. It does the thing in Vampire Survivors. If you get, as you level up, you get to pick upgrades and different things. And if you max out you have weapons and you have items. So you can have 5 or 6 weapons in Survivors. You have 5 or 6 weapons. I think it's 6 weapons. And the equal number of items. And if you have a certain weapon and a certain item, they can combine to become a super version of that item. And those are mostly the same in this. So if you know that, so you'll hit points where you'll find a super weapon upgrade, and you basically sacrifice the card of the whip and the card of the gauntlet, and now you can't play those cards anymore because you've destroyed them, but they become the bloody tear whip, which is a direct Castlevania reference, obviously.
There's a lot of Castlevania references in there.
So now that thing costs like 3 mana, but if you can do it as the third part of your combo, it's going to do like 2,000 damage. So all the enemies.
I see.
The original whip does 8.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah,
it's a big change. And you can stack these things together. You've got armor. So one key thing is you see a little sword icon up at the top there. That's going to tell you how much damage the enemy is going to do to you in the subsequent turn. So you need to either have enough armor on you to absorb that much from them, or you need to do something to them that will, like on the axe there, it says knockback. If you knock them back a row, instead of attacking you, the enemy just moves up to the front row. So if you knock them all back, nobody will hit you.
It's so funny how I was playing this. So for me, I would always play like the spinach or the herbs first, because it would be like, 20% damage. So I want to play that first to buff it 20%. Then I would use my weapons, because I'm like, they're going to have 20% more damage. Like, it's funny how I played this.
Right. And that's not wrong in the sense of like that's what it does. But if you played like a 0 cost first, then
I understand it now.
Then the spinach gives you 20% instead of 10%.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. So it is all about the order that you play your cards.
I mean, that's how the combos work.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can't always do that. It's actually it becomes more important how many cards you're drawing at once, how much mana you have to play anything. I mean, if you play your cards right, you can end up in crazy broken situation, like where like you're drawing your whole deck twice each turn, and you're playing everything all at once. And because I'm going to do this, and this card gives me more mana, and that lets me draw 2 more cards, and I can make a combo out of that. That combo gave me another 3 mana, which lets me play this. And like they just don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
There's no chance. And like they fixed a bunch of stuff in the demo. Like the demo had some really broken stuff you could exploit. The Spiffing Brit did a really good video of that, where basically if you bought the first armor upgrade, which was 2 armor, so you always have 2 armor every turn no matter what. It's just you could, just like Vampire Survivors, you have permanent upgrades you can make: more health, more damage, more XP, more money, more armor, etc. And so if you started with 2 armor, you already had an advantage where like almost every group of enemies in the first dungeon only does 4 damage. So if you can get one armor up, you get 1 or 2 armor cards, which are 0 cost. That's 4 armor. You can't be hurt. Now, if you pick Imelda, who is a character you can unlock very early, she has a card that gives you a bunch of XP multipliers. So what you would do in the demo is you just sit there and let them attack you for nothing and constantly cycle through your deck and play. You could be level 100 after the first battle by doing that.
Yeah.
Now they nerfed that for the final game, where the permanent armor upgrades are only 1 armor at a time. And every time you cycle like that, the game starts to fill the level up with water. And if it fills with water, you just die. You just drown. So they're like, okay, you're not supposed to sit there and just like farm forever.
Yeah.
Also, if you play the same cards over and over again in a battle enough, they can break.
Oh, yeah, I figured that out. I also would always play the armor last, because I would like, okay.
No, you should always play the armor first because it's 0.
See, I always played it last because I was like, I want to use the armor right before I get attacked. Like I'm just explaining the logic I was using to play the game. It was insane. Like that's how I was playing it.
Yeah, that's not.
It's funny. But I still made it like a long ways. Like my first run, I probably made it 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
The first few runs are very easy.
Yeah.
They're designed to ease
show you the ropes.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Way more easy than early levels of Vampire Survivors.
Yeah. Because I did thing on another run after that, and I lasted like half as long.
Yeah. But you do unlock more. Like
well, I went to the store and I bought stuff, and
and like every time you do certain things, you're unlock. I mean, there's like 160 achievements in this thing, and you're unlocking like 40 every time.
Wow.
You go through some of these things if you do all the right stuff.
This is on Game Pass, by the way. I probably should have put that in the upper third there.
Yeah. Although it's also like, I mean, just buy it and support these people.
How much is it?
I think I want to say it's 25, 25. It's really, if you like Vampire Survivors, this is that as a dungeon crawler.
Yeah, the first person it's dungeon crawling turn-based RPG.
It's got all the same addictive qualities. It's got all the same like appeal. Mm-hmm. It's great. Yep. Like these bastards did it again. I gotta like look out for these guys because they're dangerous.
Yep.
Like because this is another one of those things where it's like, well, there's your day gone.
Draylock says it's only $9.
It's only $9.
Wow, that's great. Veritas says 10, but yeah, $9 or $10. Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, it's fantastic. Go get it.
How long do you think someone can keep playing this game?
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can grind.
Is Vampire Survivors like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can clear levels, but you can still go through with different characters and unlock. I mean, I don't know anybody who's unlocked everything in that game.
I'm probably the only person that's watching this right now that has not played Vampire Survivors. It's a huge game.
Just go to play it.
Yeah.
Go play it.
For whatever reason, I just looked at it and I was like, it just doesn't look interesting.
Once it clicks and you figure out what's happening with it, and you figure out like, oh, if I do this right, because this is also in this game, like eventually, when you finish the dungeon, just like in Vampire Survivors, when you get half an hour into the run, death just shows up and kills you.
Oh, I see.
And if you get down, I think it's 5 floors, and you get down to the end of the 5th floor, and death just shows up and kills you. But death does 100 damage, and if you can somehow get your life above 100, you could theoretically survive a hit from death and kill death in a retaliatory move, which was kind of like the overall like long-term goal of Vampire Survivors, was being able to survive death's attack at the end of the 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is possible. Like, you can do that. It's just going to take you a while to figure out the combo for that and unlock some things. So there's a lot to do beyond just get through game. There's mastery to be done.
Well, we've got a super chat over on YouTube. Let's check it out. This is from Imran Kabir Iman. He says, hey guys, glad to catch up and see you guys live. Thank you for all the great content. Hope you guys are doing well health-wise. Appreciate all the hard work. Thank you very much. No question? You can always ask a question. If you give us a super chat, we will always answer it. But thank you very much for your donation. That is awesome, man. Thank you. Somebody in the other chat on Twitch was like, yeah, Shane doesn't know how to play card battling. No, I don't. No. I never play them. I literally have never played a card battle game.
It's not his thing.
It's not my thing. That's why I let Matt handle it, because he loves them.
We went when on my birthday. You came and you watched us play a card game. Some people were already here. We watched us play a card game like twice, and afterwards people were like, "Do you want to play?" And you're like, "No,
I'm good.
I have no idea what you're doing." I was like,
I had no clue.
It's not. It's like me trying to figure out football.
Right. Yeah, it's the same thing. So anyway, it's just not my thing, but I let Matt review it because it is his thing and he knows it very well. But you know what? To be fair, I tried the game.
Yeah.
I gave it a whirl. It's kind of interesting, though, hearing how somebody who doesn't play these games looked at this game and tried to play it.
You'd figure it out eventually.
Eventually. I mean, I played it 30 minutes with no sound. Like, my wife was making dinner, and I'm just like, I'll check this out for 30 minutes, and that's what I did. So
you would probably like Survivors more.
Yeah.
It's more your style. It's an action. It's an action game.
Yeah.
You don't. It's an action game where you don't have to press the attack button. That's all.
Oh, interesting.
Because they auto attack.
Okay.
You're just moving around.
Gotcha. So it's just a stick, and that's it.
You're just moving around, and you have to basically you have to choose your upgrades, and that's how you build the character. And so like you have to pick. Oh, I like the whip, and then I want a range, and then I want like an area of effect, and I want and you're hoping to build your character up into basically an invincible machine of walking death and survive the full 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's a really good puzzle. And as you unlock, you figure out different combinations of weapons and items, unlock the super version of that. If you can get, getting a character with all 6 of their weapons upgraded to the super version, you are basically a god.
Yeah.
Like that's the satisfying part is like, you early runs and you're just like, oh my god, these guys killed me in like 5 minutes. And afterwards, like, I cannot believe I ever lost to these Pathetic loser. You're
I
just,
hear you.
just mowing shit down. Like,
Yeah.
And eventually, like, there's points at which when you get good enough, and not about good enough, you unlock enough and you understand the combos of things enough in Vampire Survivors where you're like, you can just leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can walk away and come back 20 minutes later, and you would have been killed by death at the 30-minute mark, but you were untouchable. Like there's points where you can't even see the character anymore because everything's just getting destroyed everywhere. It's a lot of fun.
I'll have to check it out. But anyway, there you go. That is Vampire Crawlers, and it's available for PS5, PC, Xbox Series, Switch, and mobile. So it's pretty much available for everything. Once
And
you have it on Switch,
also the Castlevania crossover stuff with Vampire Survivors is very, very good.
oh, cool. I'll check that out.
And that's a separate.
I can probably get that game for like $5 now, I'm guessing.
In a sale, it's probably about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cheap,
Okay.
and the DLC is cheap. I mean, I can't imagine it costs more than $19 for the whole thing at some point if you get it in a Steam sale.
Yeah.
And the Castlevania stuff is separate from the main game, so you don't even have to. You can just jump straight to the Castlevania stuff
Interesting.
if that's what you're more interested in.
It's cool. Okay, that's it for Vampire Crawlers.
And Survivor's also on Game Pass, Vincent says.
Okay.
No excuse.
Yeah, there isn't.
Well, there's a lot to play this week.
There
But
is.
after
after next
in
week.
May.
Yeah.
No excuse.
Yeah, the first week of May is slow, but May's pretty banging, man. It's a
in
good month of
June-
game releases. June, I'll be playing Vampire Survivors all month long.
Nothing says vampires like the beginning of summer.
That's true.
Time-
Tayo!
It's time for Surf Dracula.
I think that came out, didn't it, in the
Yeah.
summertime?
Tayo, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boktai.
Boktai.
Yeah. I have a Boktai beach towel. Isn't that crazy? I take it to the beach and people are like, what the hell is that? It's really bizarre.
They're all like, the people are like, that was Kojima, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
like, yeah, I want people to go
One of his
outside.
crate is
You know what
that-
the problem with outside is? I can't see the screen anymore.
Yeah. Was that a GBA or a DS game?
It was a DS game.
Was it?
I want to say.
Yeah.
Or was it?
I don't remember.
No, I think it was a GB. I think it was GBA because I remember it was the SP. It was the
Yeah.
clamshell SP and it stuck out at the bottom.
Right. Yeah, because it had that light sensor on the cartridge.
because it was like a long cartridge. Yeah.
It's crazy. Kojima's nuts. Still nuts after all these years, which I kind of love about him. We were going to review Kiln in this episode, but we've run out of time, unfortunately.
Also,
so
you already talked about Kiln.
yeah, but I've played a lot more of it, and I just played like the demo or whatever the
a
first
lot of
time.
Kiln. You haven't played Vampire Survivors. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
I mean,
to say.
trust me, the review's not going to be that long, but I do want to talk about it again. But that's also on Game Pass. You can play it for yourself. But unfortunately, we have run out of time. So, of course, there's just one thing left to do. That's right, party people. It's time for Name That Game Tune, where I play 5 audio samples from a video game, and you try to name the game before this guy right here. It's a really fun game to play, and we can play it because of Soundwizardry.com, the absolute wizards of audio, game audio, film, TV, podcasts. No matter what kind of sound you're working on, I guarantee you they can make it better. I guarantee you if you're working on an indie video game right now, they are better than your sound team. Contact soundwizardry.com for any of your audio projects. I promise you, they will make them better. And there really aren't any rules for this anymore. We used to have a bunch, but now really the only one is that the chat goes into slow-mo, so you can't spam a bunch of titles. So we go through 5 different audio samples. They become more obvious as we go. And hopefully one of you can figure out what this game is before this guy. Matt won last week. You're up to 4 wins. Didn't bring the leaderboard back this week. I'll probably bring it back next week. Hopefully one of you guys or girls will win.
Complete with colons.
With colons. Everybody's got a colon now.
Just this once, Rose. Everybody gets a colon.
YouTube crew, thank you very much for checking out GameFace. We appreciate you guys showing up for the live stream. But if you want to play Name That Game Tune, you got to head over to twitch.tv/SIFTedGames and get in on the chat. All right, let me bring up your headphones. And let me get the samples pulled up. All right. Are you ready to play Name That Game Tune?
Mm-hmm.
Are you awesome people ready to play Name That Game Tune? Here's the first sample in 3, 2, 1.
Sekiro.
No. Polybius, no. Is that Saber? He guessed before we even played a sample, but that's not it.
It's also not a game.
Right. Polybius?
No.
What is that?
That's the fictional game that the government supposedly used to mind control people in the 80s in urban legend.
Oh, right. Right. I forgot about that. Darksiders, no. Tsushima, no. AC Black Flag. That would be very, very sly of me, wouldn't it? But it's not. It's not Black Flag. Ghost of Tsushima, no. Onimusha 3, no. Metal Gear Rising, no. Ninja Gaiden, no. Rise, Son of Rome, that's not it. Not Dishonor.
Not Dishonored.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, not Dishonored either. Final Fantasy 16, no. Dead Cells, nope. Shadow of Mordor, nope. For Honor, Ninja Gaiden 4, Shadow of Mordor, For Honor, no. Somebody complained last week that we were using really old games. Was that Ian Esquire, I think? Here's a newer game. I'm not going to tell you how new, but it's a newer game, and it was just for you. And he's probably not even here. But I made it a more modern game for you, Ian Esquire. Devil May Cry 3, no. Two Towers, no. Dead Rising 2, no. Ghost of Yotei, no. Any last guesses on that first sample before we go to the second one? Going once. Going twice. All right. Here's the second sample. In 3, 2, 1. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, no. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, no. Assassin's Creed Shadows, not it either.
Nightshade.
Not Nightshade. Kingdom Come Deliverance, no. It's not Neo 3. It's not Greedfall. You guys are coming up with good ideas, though. I could have used any of these in this episode. Neo 2, that's not it either.
Keep going. Neo 1.
Drakengard, no. It's not Neo 1 either. Not Kingdoms of Amalur. It's not The Witcher 3. It's not Sea of Thieves. Swashbuckling Sword Clash, and I can see why you guessed that. Any other guesses before we go to sample 3? Stellar Blade, no. Any last guesses on that one? All right. Nope. Blood Rain, nope. It's not it either. Pragmata, no. There's no swords in Pragmata. For Honor, no. Skull and Bones, nope. Windrose, no. That's kind of a big hit lately.
Yeah.
Timing was good for them to release that at the same time as Black Flag being unveiled. What a time for my power to go out unexpectedly. That stinks. Sorry, Vincent. Sid Meier's Pirates Live the Life, no. Black Myth Wukong, no. D.A. Veilguard, nope. Any last guesses on that one before we move on to the next sample? Captain Blood, no. Rise of Ronin, no. Princess Peach Showtime. I mean, there is sword fighting in that, but that's not it, Draylocks. Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, nope. On Guard, no. For Honor's been guessed like 5 times already. And
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
No. It's not it. Any last guesses before we go to the next sample? Going once. Going twice. Body Harvest. Nope. All right, here's the third sample. In 3, 2, 1.
Kill her.
A longer one. New Black Flag game. No. Dragon Age Origins. No. Fable 3. No. Fable 2. No. Look at that. Back to back. That one.
Unicorn Overlord.
No. That one didn't seem to help you guys too much. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, no. Soul Calibur 2, that's not it either. Wilhelm Scream Simulator 2026, no. Bellblade 2, no. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, nope. Crimson Desert, that's not it either. Avowed, that's not it. Someone did guess Final Fantasy 16, and that's not it. Horizon Zero Dawn, no. Clair Obscur, no. Darksiders 3, no. Any last guesses? We're getting to the fourth one.
Heavenly Sword.
Yep. That's what it is. How'd you get it out of nowhere?
I kept trying to place the Ching.
Yeah.
And the girl.
It's Heavenly Sword. Yeah.
And like it finally pieced together.
Yep. It's Heavenly Sword. Congratulations, Matt. You did it again. Doesn't matter whether it's new or old. Matt is a tough competitor either way. He knows all the games. It's not going to save you going to newer games. It's just not. You just got to be on it. You got to know the games. That's all there is to it. Here's the last 2 samples, just so you guys know we're legit.
The pact is at an end.
Number 4.
Now I must pay the price.
And here's the last one.
We'll be trapped like rats in here.
Even rats can become tigers when trapped.
And tigers make great trophies when skinned.
You're right. He did not get it right away.
Because it was the Xing plus the voice of the younger sister character.
I see.
Twing Twang.
Yep.
Whatever the hell.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, the last 2, which you didn't hear because you took the headphones off. The last 2 were like all like vocals, like them talking to each other. But I was hoping would give it away. Yeah. Congratulations. Another great job, Matt. Now you got 5 wins. You're way ahead of the pack, that's for sure. You're definitely going to end up winning ultimately, but that's not a surprise at all. All right. That's going to do it for GameFace episode 478 right here on Sifted at sifted.net. Another reminder that if you want to help us out financially, and that would be sweet because everybody's falling on hard times, us included, head on over to patreon.com/sifted. That's SIFTD. For just $5 a month, you get all our content early. Also, by the way, Patreon just completely redesigned everything. And I'm in the process of hooking up our Patreon with all the new features that's coming. But as of right now, it's still the old style. But head on over there, give us a pledge. $5 a month gets you all our content early. If you can't help us out that way, I totally get it. Everybody's hurting right now, so I definitely get it. But maybe you still have an Amazon Prime subscription because you're still getting value out of that. If you do, you can give us a free $2.50 every month. You do have to go back every month and re-click that one box to give us the $2.50. But once you've connected your 2 accounts, your Twitch account and your Amazon Prime account, it takes like 3 seconds to give us $2.50 every month. You hear us talking about it on the show all the time. It would be awesome if you could do that. If you don't know what we're talking about and you're watching on YouTube, go down below. In the description, everything's laid out there. Step-by-step instructions on how to do it. And if you don't have that or any money, just like the show. Click like right now while you're watching it. Clicky, 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 clicky. Click the clicky, clicky. Do it there. Click the bell so you get notified when we go live. If you're on YouTube and you're like, dang, I keep missing the live stream. Well, if you ring the bell or you follow us, you'll know when we go live, and you can show up for the live stream of our show every Tuesday, although this week it was Wednesday. But anyway, there's all kinds of ways you can help us. Reviewing the show on podcast services, sharing it on social media, all that stuff really matters, and it could make a big difference for us, and we would really, really appreciate it if you could do that. Next week's episode is going to be flipping awesome. We've got Saros, we've got Invincible Versus, we got Aphelion. We're going to move Kiln from this week to next week. Going to be an awesome show. Hopefully you guys can show up live, and it will be Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/siftedgames and youtube.com/siftedgames. So everybody, have yourselves a great week filled with awesome games. GameFace is up and out.